Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to Call of Duty Challengers Elite. My name is Bryce and I'll be bringing you through all the action from our two regions today. I am not alone, however, joining me this time around, my colleagues once again. They're not esports certified, but they will be here to bring you the action as well. Tun, how are you?
Yeah, I'm just fantastic, to be honest, Brycey. Thank you very much for the lovely intro. But no, very, very happy to be back in and amongst it. Obviously, a few weeks away, but we're back in again for some more high-level challenges gameplay.
We certainly are. Of course, Ellen, you're joining us as well. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thank you, Bryce, always for asking. Honestly, I can't believe it's already been 3 weeks since we've been here. It's a time. This last month just flew by, but nonetheless, it was a little bit of a gloomy day outside, but honestly, you all just make it brighter. So I'm excited to see the games and happy.
Thank you very much. It has been a little while before we've all been together, but don't worry, we are, of course, well versed in Call of Duty. But let's get everyone up to speed then. Take a little look at our standing so far in the Challenger Elite. As you can see at the moment, a new name at the top if you've only been watching this time around, Amelia Stray is currently 3-0, of course, Elevate next underneath them as well. Then Orgless, Mavericks, Obtained, Team 3G and Team War, and Pushing to round out our roster here. Ellen, what do you think of the current standings in this? We've had a week down already.
Honestly, the most shocking thing to me is Team War. They're a team that all year pretty much they've consistently placed top 3. Now sitting at 0-3, that's not really looking too great right now. So this week, I would imagine there's a lot of pressure on this team. They essentially need to win so they, do not get relegated. But I'm just really shocked to see that one. Nonetheless, they did place top 3 in the cup last weekend, but I think they played with a different player. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on with this team, but they really need to step it up if they want to have a chance to make it into the next, finals for stage 3.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And of course, Tun, the most interesting thing I think here is the fact that Watson has returned and somehow top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, a name from time gone by, Brycey Watson.
It is.
Of course, he quit to a certain degree over the past couple of years, but he's then now found himself near the top of the game once again, the challenger side of things at least. And, he's been putting the time in. He's been playing as well. His team currently undefeated as well. So be interested to see if they can continue that form. But it's just going to be about consistency. Sometimes teams can have this honeymoon period kind of vibe. We know it's a legitimate thing that does happen. So interested to see if that does continue, Brycey. But I'm curious. The team looked very, very nice.
Yeah, they certainly did, and it's like you said, honeymoon period and everything coming forward, but it's always good for me to see more competition within Europe and everything going forward. What we will do now, though, is take a little look at the teams we are going to see live on broadcast, and this is how it is going to break down for everyone at home. We are going to start with Elevate versus Orgless. These two titans of Europe will be facing off here on the live stream. Then we're watching Pushing versus Team War. We take our quick little break as we jump across the pond to Ellen's backyard in North America with Easter versus UT Crew, and then Lag Academy versus Built by Gamers. Ellen, I've mentioned you, so it's only fair to ask you which of these games you're most looking forward to.
Honestly, okay, so if we're talking about what we're about to see right now, I'm going to say this matchup that's coming up, Elevate versus Orgless, easily contesting like the top 2 teams in EU. So I think this is going to be really, really good as far as gameplay goes, and just it's going to be so close because these teams are such strong powerhouses and easily top 2.
Yeah, it's one of these things, like we were speaking about this game, we wanted to see it on stream as well, Tun, and they've played recently as well. These two games, Tun, how do you think it's going to go down?
It's really hard to say. They literally, I mean, you see the constant comments between the two teams, both pretty friendly with each other, all these guys. They seem to just be ping-ponging series between themselves. So it's really hard to sort of distinguish at this moment in time who's going to come out on top. Last time around it was Orgless in a double best out of 5, actually. They won 3-2, 3-2 in the grand finals of the Challengers Cup, as Ellen said and mentioned beforehand. So, I mean, these guys are very, very close. It's so hard to separate them. I'm expecting a close game.
All right, well, I guess we're going to have to get into this action. We are going to kick off Elevate versus Orgless as our first game here, starting off on Moscow Hardpoint. And I'm going to give it over to our casters for this one. Tun and Ellen, please take it away.
Thank you very much, Brycey. And into things once again here, Ellen, and into the Elite Challenger Season 3, week number 2, kicking things off with a very, very naughty little game between Orgless and Elevate. We did request it. It wasn't the scheduled game, but it'd be rude not to jump into another really good series between these two. And I think we're expecting it, to be honest with you, to go through some of the games that they went up against each other in that Grand Finals at the weekend. They actually didn't play Moscow Hardpoint at all, so we don't really have too much to go off on recent form, but nonetheless, Orgless are the ones to kick things off the better. They will get control for P2 as we rotate around there in 33 seconds.
Yeah, and that's not a bad start for Orgless too, because I know they were dominating their search and destroys. So just to see them, coming out hot in the hard point here, this is exactly what they need to do. They need to come out hot in the hard point, and overall, looks like they're carrying that momentum as they already have 3 down, and now already set up at that P2 hill. Elevate is actually spawning out, so it's gonna be interesting to see how Elevate can break this hole that they already have set up on the P2 rotation. And nonetheless, you're gonna start to see that start to come in.
Yep, split spawns do come on through though, so if you are Orgless, you need to hold on. Josh and Nasty do a good job at doing so. Weeman's going to break on through, but he knows the rest of Orgless will be coming from behind. That's going to get cleaned up, though. Good cover from their teammates, and it's only Vortex who can answer back. It's a nice little break for Elevate. 10-point lead for Orgless is going to be cut down, as is Harry by Denzer. Good shots coming on through, and now it's a bit of a messy one, but my goodness me, Denzer. That's very, very well played. 4 in a row from him. Can he make it 5 and 6? The push about to start coming through. Vortex will be shut down. But it's a very nice rotation from Elevate, and it just comes down to those last couple of kills after P1. They managed to force the split spawns to come in for Orgless, and it makes it very hard to hold on to it if you are the Orgless side. And Elevate will have themselves around a 30 to 40 point lead as we do head in towards P3. Orgless are there and set up, but there is one man in Hixie who's managed to get around the back.
Yeah, that's correct. And what you just said right there, Orgless, there was 25 seconds left, they had to give up that point because essentially flooding through the front while Elevate set up, not really smart to do that. So rotate, give up the time, get set up on the new rotation, and that's exactly what we have here. So now the question is can they lock this down to solidify and potentially have a lead change? But nonetheless, you got Josh having a little action here into the jewelry side, and does manage to pick up that kill on Hixie. And now the trade comes in from Nasty, but they're gonna have to, Elevate's gonna have to collapse on this and kind of wait for each other so they can collapse on the hill and make them spawn out. But nonetheless, Orgless is doing a very good job at holding it, getting all these kills, and we're gonna slowly start to see that rotation over towards the street side, on the side of Elevate.
AR battle that has really found Orgless in the driving seat here. It's going to be, as said, about a 30-point lead as we do head over towards P4. But as mentioned, the AR battle, Harry currently winning that one at 9-3 on a 4 spree. Went 5 undefeated on P1. And has found 4 in a row here over towards P3. So when he gets going, he is hard to get rid of. Now it's this break going to have to start coming on through. Hixie gets some good bullets in. Vortex first through the door. He finds the kill. Here come the rest as well. The collapse through Office. Denzer now in a bad spot as well, but can he keep a hold of it here? Finds one. Can't find the second. It's a nice break from Orgless, but Weeman. We said the AR battle is going over towards Orgless, but this time around it is going to be Weeman to get the better of them, to slow them down. It's not a bad break from them. Over towards P4, but I like this from Hixie. There's Nasty gone. And this should now be P4 locked in. The street should belong to Elevate. Well played from Hixie.
Yeah, and only 25 seconds left remain on this hill, so we may slowly start to see that rotation over, but nonetheless, it's Elevate who continue to dominate on this point, and it's hard to do that when you have someone like Weeman and Bids that locking down that street, like you said, Ton, with those ARs and in hand. And if you take a look at Hixie, he's already on that first rotation towards the P1 hill, so nonetheless, he's going to lock that down over there. Harry just picking up some scrap time, but overall, Elevate looking like they have control over this P1 hill here, and Vortex he's looking for somebody. He knows someone's around the corner, and can he get that shot on Hixie? He does, so that's a couple of kills coming in for Orgless, but they're going to really have to collapse onto this hill if they want to soak up this hill time.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is for them here is that their rotation over towards P2, the favoured side, belongs to Elevate. Orgless are the ones getting points on the board, though, but if you remember what happened in the first rotation, it was a pretty easy break for Elevate after they found a couple of kills towards the end of P1. Gonna find a couple of kills with 30 seconds remaining here, though, as Hixie finds 2, and Denzer is there to follow up. Orgless struggling to hold on here, and They're just about going to get inside. 20 points remaining to be played for here. And the scrap will go over towards Orgless, but Elevate this time around, they're not going to do what Orgless did last time and give up a couple of easy kills. Elevate will get the trenches dug. And now it's up to Orgless to try and break this down. It should be traded out, and is so by Harry. Push going to start coming on through here. Where's the spawns going to come in from Elevate? I believe it should be still towards the back. It will be. It's a big hit over towards Police, though. Going to start coming through. Street side first for Nasty and Harry, but they're going to get cut down. This is a good hold from Elevate. Still 50 seconds to play with here, Owen.
That's correct, and what a good hold from Elevate it was indeed. You know, you had Harry and Nasty on that street side, but Bids managed to lock that down and solidify the spawns, and now it's Orgless this time around who is spawning out. And again, or excuse me, Elevate did have control before they broke it. But Orgless again in that same spot where they have to make a decision. Do they give up this 27 seconds left, or, you know, rotate to the new hill, or do they push? They choose to give it up. So now Orgless set up again onto this rotation. They have to hold this if they want to get a lead change right here.
Oh, have they got the timing? Not quite. Josh just about gets Hixie. Important kills for Orgless. When you give up that much time, you know for a fact that the other team have a lot of time to make the transition over. They don't have to rush anything. They can hold one guy back, send 3 forward. That's exactly what Elevate did, but Orgless managed to find those kills and will lock themselves in. And we know that Moscow is very rotationally heavy, and so far that's really showing in the scoreline. Very, very close game. Teams trading backwards and forwards. It's a couple of kills going to start coming through here for Elevate, though. The challenge going to come in from Vortex. Needs to find at least one. Doesn't find any. And now Elevate can start moving on through. They rush through. There's 3 kills coming through very quickly. And it's up to Josh at the back to just try and stay alive. But the rest of the team spawning over towards Banks. Still an opportunity for Orgless to break back through.
And Wee Man, Hixie, they know that they're coming there to the connector. And Harry does manage to take him down. Wee Man just trying to stay alive. They still only have 19 seconds left. They still got a lot of good time on this hill. So Orgless, kind of looking scary for them. They're going to have to actually start to still try to get maybe some of this time. They're spawning in the back, but nonetheless, if you take a look at Bids, he's already on that new hill, so they're going to have him to worry about. But Denza is just straight destroying them right now. He's 20 and 13, and he has a minute in hill time. That's actually really, really good if you're here into stage 3. But this is a great opener for Elevate as they soak up this hill time and have the street control.
They need the ARs to really come on through strong here. Hixie, that's a big gunfight. We'll find the second. Easy as you like. In from behind. It's 4 in a row from him now, and the SMGs being the prevalent one here on this hill specifically. Maybe that's an overchild, though, as Wee Man looks for the second as well. That's massive from him. Completely shuts down the push coming through mid-map, and now Elevate can get themselves set up once again. Harry from the street just trying to slow this down. Orgless may be able to here, but the trades start to come on through. Bids will find 2. Will eventually get traded out, but Elevate just about there to hold on. If you're Orgless, you need to stop this bleeding, but crucially, have a look at the side of the map that they have control of right now. That is that rotation over towards P2 that they're leaning towards, but they need to stop Elevate picking up all the points here at P1, and they need to hold perfectly as well. It's about a 60-point lead, but this is not insurmountable for Orgless.
Agreed. And if you look at Elevate, their slaying power is pretty powerful right now. They're getting those important kills, getting the kills on the rotations, and they're doing everything correctly. And
huge.
as I say that, they get all of Orgless down. So now that's kind of leaving Nasty in a hairy situation. But he's going to try to probably hold this. 34 seconds left. You know, you're thinking about that P2 rotation, and you don't necessarily want to play too fast, but nonetheless, he does pick up that kill on Wee Man. So now the Orgless does get some kills, but if you take a look at Bids again, early on the rotation, but they didn't get the spawn.
No, they didn't.
No, they didn't.
They didn't. Bids is here on his own, though. Do they know that he's there? That's the thing. Orgless will know when they start to spawn, but they're still spawning out, so surely they should have an idea. Oh, the Bids is huge here. This is massive for Elevate. He'll be saying to the rest of his team, just wait, I'm here. There's 1, there's 2 for Bids. Give him number 3 for Harry on the street as well. He bided his time, but he will get his head taken off. Well played by Orgless, who have managed to battle back through. That's 4 dead, but spawning towards the police station is Elevate. Are they going to know that there? Harry finds 1. It's the push coming round the back. Wee Man will find 1 in behind. Orgless still in control of the hill, but my goodness, Elevate. Not quite blessed with this one. It's pretty typical, but Orgless have to fight from the front now. They need to keep them towards back. Please keep an eye on Vortex, who's in around behind himself. Wee Man will fall, and Orgless pretty much need to win every single gunfight. They need to look for this rotation over towards P3 as well. They continue to win the gunfights. Bits falls as well. Orgless, another 20 points under their belt here. They'll get all the scrap. It's about the race to P3 now.
And Elevate already there on the rotation. Yeah, Vortex, he's gonna have to fight all of them there, and now he does get taken out, but he does have help. Josh is there. He does take one. Can he get the other? Nasty actually cleans him up. Now they only have bids to worry about. They could potentially solidify that, but no, he does get traded out. Now Elevate has control over the spawns, but Orgless is gonna start coming flying on through the front. And it's really up to them.
Oh, you gotta win that
every single second. They have to win every single gunfight to solidify this point and take the win.
10 points away here for Elevate now. If you're Orgless, you've got to go. You've got to win every gunfight. You've got to run through the sight lines of Elevate. You've got to get inside the hill. They get there. 249. Hixie inside. Harry will lock this one in. 249 for Elevate. They need a touch. They need the slightest of touches. Map number 1 has not disappointed between these two, Orgless and Elevate. 20 seconds remaining here. If you're Orgless, you need to be perfect on the hold. You need to be perfect on the rotation, but that's 2 kills coming through from Elevate. Harry needs to go massive. He finds 2 as well, but you need to start moving. It's 7 seconds. Elevate already set up. This is surely done. I don't think Orgless have got the legs in them to get there quick enough. That will be game, and Elevate take map number 1.
What a game that was there, Ton. I for a moment it looked like Elevate was in control the whole entire time, and you know it could the deficit was just it was just running away from Orgless, if you will. But Orgless had that really good hold on that P3 and the P2, and that was just so beautifully played by them. I couldn't have asked of a better series for map 1, game 1 of this week 2.
That's what you want, really, isn't it? that sort of game between teams like this, very, very close. And I think it kind of comes down to a couple of times where Orgless had that rotation. They got broke a little bit easy. I think if they look back, I think it was the second rotation over towards P3. I think if they hold that a lot better, you've got a really, really close game. It was close nonetheless. Yeah. But you have to look at some of the faults that maybe came on through. But they did well for that break over towards P2, which was super, super messy. What a crazy map number 1 between these two teams. But just going back through it, reliving some of the moments. It was pretty crazy from the word go. There was big plays being made left, right, and center. Harry had a really hard start and maybe slowing down just a little bit. And Wee Man picked things up. But really, it was the SMGs of Elevate that did a lot of the talking for them in map number 1.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm really surprised that they didn't get the spawns there even with bids in the back. That was just such an interesting split spawn that they had there. But nonetheless, still able to close out. And it just overall, maybe Orgless was just trying to, they were getting warmed up a little bit. But nonetheless, great game. And you love to see it. You love to see it.
Yep. Fantastic game. Number 1 between these two. In the end, Elevate will do it by 26 points. So not a lot in it between these two. And to point towards the series that these guys had at the weekend, I did some digging because, of course, I think it was just streamed through one of the community guys. I think it was Aroma who was streaming it. But we didn't get to see the S&Ds. I was just going back through to see what maps these two did, of course, play up against each other. In the first series, it was Garrison and Hardpoint that, of course, went over towards Elevate. Express Search and Destroy was 6-0 to Orgless. Garrison Control then went over towards Elevate. Then Checkmate on, of course, Hardpoint, and then on Search and Destroy, both went over towards Elevate, towards Orgless, as you said, which forced the second series, where Elevate won map number 1, which was Checkmate, map number 2, which was Raid, and then Garrison, Miami, all won in a row by Orgless. And Miami is the map that we're going to be going to for map number 2 in this Search and Destroy. So it should be an interesting one. We got... I think it's so hard for these two teams to kind of do their vetoes against each other now, isn't it? I think it does make it very, very difficult when you played each other so many times and it is backwards and forwards. You sort of like, well, I mean, at this point, let's just get rid of our crutch bands and then we go from there. But Miami, Garrison, Checkmate, and Raid is what's coming up. We may need Checkmate and Raid if, of course, Elevate cannot close this out in 3. But I expect we'll be heading over to one of those 2 maps at least here, Alan.
Yeah, I agree with you. And yeah, Orgless, their Search and Destroy was looking so strong. and like you said, 6-0 in that matter of fashion. So that's really, really tough to do against a team like Elevate. But if essentially if they win that here and now, like you said, we could definitely see a map 4 or 5. But Orgless, their S&D game is so good that it's scary. It's scary. So I would like to see them come alive in this next one and just contest it. But the fact that they did play against each other just this past couple days ago, and like you said, all the time, maybe we might start to see some new strategies. Maybe they'll implement something new. Essentially, it's one of those things, right? When you're competing against each other, and it's just like strategies, you have to always change. You always have to change your strategy. So I really want to see something new coming out of them.
Yeah, you do need to change it up, especially when these two have played each other so much. A lot of these players have played together in teams as well, so they kind of had a good idea of what kind of player each of the other team are as well. So I think it is a very interesting dynamic, but it's something we seen last year on the Challenger side of things specifically. Of course, in Europe, where we have, of course, seen Orgless there, who were formerly Team War, going up against formerly S&G, who have a couple of these guys in here as well. There was this battle consistently, and it was always these maps being traded left and right. One week, one team would win Hackney at Hardpoint. Next week, the other team would win it. It's just occasionally it was backwards and forwards all the way through, and I wonder if this is the start of that kind of vibe between these two teams. But we are heading in
like
towards
adapting to each other.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just changing left and right, and it can change as the game changes. Of course, we've seen a big patch come through in the past week or so, and you'd argue that Elevate were maybe a little bit further ahead before that patch, and maybe this is what's closed things up. I don't know. It's very hard to tell. It really is hard to tell, but into the Search and Destroy we go. Orgless taking on Elevate in map number 2. And if this is as good as it was in map number 1, we're expecting a close series all the way through. But Orgless really have been the dominant Search and Destroy side between these two teams as of recent in that grand final at the weekend. Can they keep it up here? Wee Man, well positioned. Nasty will find the gun. Onto him secondary, though, and we'll trade that one out. But the info is there for Elevate. Still, Orgless some work to do over towards A.
Yep, and it looks like the bomb is going to slowly inch his way towards there. I don't think Nasty's necessarily going to go for the plant just yet. Maybe just trying to play for information. It looks like Josh is doing there, but nonetheless, he's going to get that plant down, hopefully here. And he's got Bids and Denza to worry about in their spawn. Pixie is going to probably start to rotate over as well. And here we go. Floods is slowly going to start to come in, but nonetheless, we're just trying to play for picks here. Still have a lot of time to work with on the clock, so nonetheless, he does take out Nasty there. So now leaving that in a 3 versus 2. Got Josh and Harry to worry about there on that beach side.
Yeah. The bomb position. Look at the beams from Harry, though. Bids gets peeled off the top. But now this is from Hixie. Can he get aggressive? Can't find the shots onto Josh. Harry going to go down. They know where Josh is. Hixie closing in. Oh, he gets the bomb diffuser. That's massive from Josh. What is that second kill? Oh, that's a fantastic round number 1 from Orgless, and this has to be the kill cam. Knows Hixie is approaching because the shots have come through. Gets Denzer off the bomb, switches his sight. The pistol is out. Hixie is dead. My goodness,
Josh. What a play
Josh.
from Josh. What a play. Just playing his life there and just holding down that boat side, not necessarily getting too aggressive, but, that AR in hand, it's just so crucial, especially on a map like Miami, locking it down. And he did just a really good job of that, even with the odds in their favor. Nonetheless, now from this side, we're going to see Elevate go towards the A site. But Orgless looked like for a second through that garage side, they were maybe trying to play an aggressive flank, but nonetheless, Elevate and try to work towards this A site. And Denza is throwing a stun check there, just try to open up the map a little bit, maybe check for information. And they're going to have Josh to worry about right here on this A site.
This is interesting, though, from Orgless. Look at this 3-man out of piano. Josh is going to find the kill, though, here from mid-map. Very obscure player from Orgless here. Very awkward to play against. I mean, look at the control of mid-map they've got.
Yeah.
They know where the bomb is. They're posted up in mid-map. Well, Josh is going to be dead now as Bids finds that from the balcony. Expecting the flank to come through. Denza will probably go for that flank. Or for the plant, I should say, as the flank is probably going to start coming in here from Orgless. Orgless have kind of got to that position of, well, do we stick a twist? And here comes the twist as Vortex comes through, and Harry will find 2 in the mid-map as well. Massive from him. And yeah, Orgless got caught in the middle of the map there a little bit. one of those situations where it's difficult to do a great deal. But Harry seeing Denza go for the plant, maybe the wrong angle to go for, and he will clean up the second. 2-0 now to Orgless. The S&D advantage, if you like, does continue. In round number 3 we go.
Yeah, I wonder if Orgless right there, maybe they just stayed there just to, like, Elevate was rotating back. Maybe they kind of anticipated that rotation, you know, and just posted up, and perfect kills for them. But nonetheless, we're going to see it. It looks like from the side of Orgless, split 2-2. So Harry, you have Harry here, just on the defensive side. You got Vortex and Nasty working that A site. Kind of playing a little bit for information, though. Just both teams just nonetheless just kind of sitting back. Minute left still on the clock, so it's just a little bit of a waiting game here, Ton. Just kind of hanging out.
Yep. There's the passive one. That's all it is. It's one of those where both teams sort of move up, look for information, don't find any. What do we do?
Right.
It's kind of the vibe. They don't really know. Yeah. It's one of those where it's just a case of, well, let's make a decision and run with it. And that decision very much seems to be B. Josh going to push through. Hixie, that's a big gunfight. Denza will get traded out, though. Nasty now in the power position behind the bomb, but Hixie very difficult to get rid of. No trophy down for Nasty, and Hixie is able to force him up. 25 seconds remaining. Hixie's going to take bullets, but doing well to survive. It couldn't have went on for much longer. Nasty now. Not considering the plant too early. Vortex is going to catch out Wee Man, though, and all of a sudden it's another round over towards Orgless. Wee Man will be saying, why on earth is Vortex there? Very smart from him, though. He knows that the majority of the players have probably been over towards the A side because it is the more favoured. We're planning over to B. We have control. They've got to make a move somewhere. Vortex is well positioned to deal with that. 3-0 now. This is very, very well played from Orgless so far. Very clean search and destroy we're seeing out of this side.
Orgless, I'm telling you, their search and destroys are just scary. Every time I watch them play search and destroy, it's just, they're so good. Oh, I love it. But nonetheless, now Elevate's definitely going to have to win this round because swinging in their favor of being, you know, down 0-4, it definitely puts a lot of pressure, and you always want to win this round, and I'm sure they're probably saying that. So now I'm going to start to see that push come in towards A. I don't know if they know Josh is there. Actually, maybe they do. Josh gets taken down now. A is completely clear for a bomb site. And again, like you said, towards that mid-map, like Orgless is caught up there, but Nasty, what a shot on Hixie.
I mean, the thing is here, if you're Orgless, you're just like, well, why take control of the site when we can just take control of Hotel and really dictate the rest of the map from there? Although at this point, this is why you don't do it. You've got one man sitting back there in bids who will be able to clean this one up, and that was well played by Elevate. Pretty much the same kind of round from Orgless on the defensive side of things. 3 players push through Piano, and they try and defend it from there. It's because you can get this kind of angle. 7 for you is a submachine gun, ladies and gents. Just to you know.
I thought they nerfed that thing.
Oh
gosh.
Yeah, apparently. It's still good. It's still good. Let's say.
Good.
No, he had time.
It
It's not like he beamed them really quickly, in fairness. But nonetheless, Nasty doing well. Find himself in those positions, but not well enough. Elevate will take a round. Which way Orgless going to go this time? Elevate choosing the heavy defend B and maybe get a little bit aggressive. You're going to run into Josh. There's the info. That's all he needed. I'm sure he would have seen him there. Yeah. He knows somebody's in and around Piano, so Josh will linger, and that may well slow down the Orgless push, to be honest with you. Does make it a little bit more of a wary situation. You have to be careful not to be flanked. It is difficult. Wee Man, well, he's pretty much gone for a swim at this point.
Yeah, Wee Man all by himself over by the A site. Maybe Elevate was kind of anticipating a fast B push, but nonetheless, it looks like those arrows are kind of turning back and forth. They might be anticipating that. As here comes a push slowly start to come in as Nasty Vortex get that team shots onto Wee Man, and now the bomb is going to go for a plant. Trades come in over there at A site, but you have Elevate to worry about on the flank. Harry anticipating that, just holding down that top hotel room, so push is going to start to come in from Elevate. Harry does manage to take down Hixie, and the second one. So now Orgless solidifies that round, now leading it up 4-1. That was a good play for them. A little interesting, but, you know, on that rotation coming over, Elevate definitely had to worry about Harry. And when you have him shooting like that, oh my goodness. It's very hard to break.
Yeah, this is pretty much where you do not want Harry to be if you are Elevate.
Exactly. Got that Cregan in.
into the next round. Orgless will be very happy with how this map is going. Harry sitting at 7-2, Nasty at 5-2. The AR's really the ones getting the job done, but it is Miami, so it's pretty much expected when things get a little bit heavy in and around A and B. Once the bombs are down, if things get aggressive, that's where you expect your SMGs to start to take hold. That has been the problem now for Elevate, really. 2 and 4 for Bids, 2 and 4 for Wee Man. Can't keep up in that sense. Can't find the angles. Orgless, slippery one to play with here. It has to be said, they are really mixing things up from time to time. But Josh sitting at 4-on-4 after finding his 4th kill over towards A here will be happy to hold on to this A bomb site. But very aggressive from Orgless once again through Piano. Nasty backing on down, but Vortex setting himself up there. But the bomb is going to be going down from Hixie over towards A.
Oh, the bomb goes down. Hixie does get the bomb down, but Nasty does take him out now.
That's a big
Orgless
kill.
all on the bomb site. Bids and Wee Man, they look like they're a little bit too far away, but Bids does get that shot down onto Harry, and Josh trades him out as well. So now that looks like that might be it. Orgless managed to get that defuse, and that's tough. That is tough if you're Elevate. You know, you really need Wee Man, especially. You need those ARs to come alive on a map, especially like Miami. And when you have Nasty Harry, you got them locking it down. It's just very tough to overcome. But nonetheless, Orgless is looking very strong right now into the search and destroy, leading 5-1. And they need one more round right now to win.
They're getting that. They're getting that. Still, that's an unfortunate one. I think if you're Elevate, you've got to plan that in the correct position to make sure that that hotel position that you've set yourself up for is able to actually be some use. In that case, it unfortunately wasn't. It was well played by Orgless nonetheless. They kept them away from it, but this is a very aggressive push over towards B. And if you remember back towards the beginning of Cold War, B seemed to be the favoured site. Slowly, as ARs become maybe a little bit more prevalent, at range specifically, it did become A, but this time around, it's the old switcheroo from Orgless. B will go down. Look at the flank coming through from Elevate. I think the rest of the team are going to wait from that coming, but it's not going to give them a lot of time to collapse on B.
You notice too, last time Elevate actually stacked this point. So Orgless, great plays by them by rushing in there, knowing potentially that was open. But nonetheless, the collapse is going to come through Elevate. Nasty does take down Bids. Now, there's only 20 seconds left on the clock. Now Josh takes down Hixie. Now this is not looking good for Elevate. 3 versus 2. There's only 15 seconds left onto the clock, and that's just it. Wee Man in the most impossible situation. 1v4. He does take down one, but not enough time to solidify that. He does get the second, and he doesn't get the third. But that was very hard situation to be in when, you know, you got all 4 players of Orgless just up, and overall, nonetheless, they close it out here, and still good shots coming in from Wee Man. So hopefully we'll see them come back live in the next round, but good stuff coming in from Orgless.
Yeah, really, really nice from Orgless. I don't think it would take a qualification to know that Wee Man was going to struggle in that situation. Very, very difficult scenario. Even with those 2 kills, it was always going to be difficult, but nonetheless, a very, very good performance out of Orgless throughout that whole map there. Very, very well set up. I just like the way that they got aggressive through Piano and control the mid-map rather than try to control the sites, because they know they can rotate in so many different directions to make it work in that scenario. So nice to see from Orgless that the S&D does continue, and it's kind of the way we expected the series to start to go in the PCN. This was the big moment though, wasn't it, where Josh finds the 2 there. Really well played in the end to even find that second kill, even though he did not need it. But very, very clean from Orgless all the way through that search and destroy.
Yeah, I agree. And some search maps play like that. You know, you get that mid-map control, and essentially you can do anything. You can watch both bomb sites, you could rotate to either site, and overall, they just did a really good job of that. And Orgless, when it comes to their search and destroy, I feel like they're just really good at psyching out their team, like the other team. And, you know, there were some situations where Elevate, I think, anticipated a B push, and you saw that they were stacking that garage site, but Orgless was over at A. And then the next round, what does Orgless do? They rush into the B site and they plant. So nonetheless, that was really good stuff from them, and I'm really excited to see how this control goes out.
Yeah, it's been so back and forth between these 2 teams, and we expected nothing less as we headed into the series. And as mentioned, I mean, we kind of requested it. It was supposed to be a different series, but after what went on at the weekend between these 2, it had been so close. We know that it's probably going to be close towards the end of the season as well between them. It's an interesting one to sort of watch once again. Let's have a look at the rest of the maps that are going to be coming though in this series, and they're familiar ones. Garrison Control coming up, Checkmate Hardpoint we will see, and we will see with Raid Search and Destroy if we do need it. But Garrison and Checkmate have been hotly contested between these two teams all the way through. Control for me, I mean, at the weekend it was one apiece, both on Garrison. So in one of the best out of 5 series in the grand final, it went over towards Elevate, and the other the best out of 5 series, it went over towards Orgless. So I mean, it's trading backwards and forwards between these two, and I think that's what I love about the series between them. I think it's not necessarily the only guarantee that we know that Orgless are going to take the Search and Destroys. Outside of that, it's kind of one of those that you're not 100% sure on, but we have seen Elevate take Search and Destroys off Orgless as well. So it is very, very difficult to determine which way this one's going to go. But both teams will be feeling confident heading into Garrison, and it's who's shooting better on the day as we load in to map number 3. Which way we going then, Ellen? Bryce didn't try to throw us under the bus to go with the predictions throughout the beginning of the show. So
I know, curious. I was going to say, that was different. Between Elevate and Orgless, this one is just so hard to say. Just like you said, they've been going back and forth just the last couple of weeks especially. And with that last cup, again, Orgless did manage to solidify the win, but Elevate, nonetheless, still a really, really good team. And it's just both teams are really, really good at trading kills. Like if you notice that, their teamwork and their chemistry are just very similar. It's very close. Like I said, these two teams are just so good in the EU region and trading. They're really good at trading and communicating. And I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know.
It's hard.
It's hard to say this one, but if I had to pick, I'm going to say just because simply for the fact that they lost, Elevate technically did get reverse sweep, even though every game was close. I'm going to say Elevate's out for blood. I think Elevate's going to win this one.
Possibly. I think based on what we've seen in map number 1, you kind of feel like they need to take the next 2 maps if they do want to win this one between these two teams. Based on how the Search and Destroy has been, you would lean towards the Orgless side if we do get towards map number 5. But the question is, are we going to get there? Are we going to need it? Are Orgless going to win the next 2 maps? Honestly, it's difficult, isn't it? It's very difficult to decipher which way this one's going to go. Into the Control Garrison we go, though. Second time of asking as we load in. Let's see. It is going to be Elevate on the attacking side with Orgless up to defend first.
And already entering to this, Wee-Man, it does take out Vortex, so not a bad start here if you're Elevate. Maybe get that 1 tick off, and it looks like they are going to solidify that. But I say that now, Orgless is going to have to start answering back and pushing on through. But I think they changed the contesting as far as the control goes. So I think an extra tick, it's like that 25, not 20 seconds, something like that. I have to verify that, but nonetheless, Orgless does clean out those kills, and they do manage to push Elevate back. But going to be trading back and forth here as Elevate. They're going to have to see. It's going to see how they're going to, if they're going to go towards A or B. But it's really hard when you have Orgless just pushed up into this point.
Yeah, it's one of those things where Orgless have found those kills, so they just push forward and don't offer Elevate the luxury of deciding. Shoving them back, well played by Orgless. They can now get themselves set up. Slightly the lives advantage, I should say. That gets cut off by Wee-Man, but Vortex finding kills in the middle of the map, and a flurry more come through from Orgless. Wee-Man not wanting to be challenging there with the Krieg in his hand. Vortex will just back on down, just knowing about valuing your life there. Wee-Man continuing though. Been a bit of a thorn in the side. He's going to find one at the Josh here, but the rank does need to come through fairly quickly. So Orgless have set up very, very nicely on the defensive side. Bids is dead as well. My goodness, Orgless have got Elevate in a headlock here. Wee-Man pushing forward, but Orgless are there to meet them, and I actually don't think Elevate have got time to get there. A very, very clean round from the Orgless side. Elevate will not get there, and Orgless will take round number 1 in devastating fashion.
I agree with that, because it really looked like towards the opening break right there, it was Elevate that had the first blood, and they were already pushed onto that site, had the first tick, but Orgless, they played patiently, and they collapsed onto that hill that got essentially the key kills, and then they pushed forward. That's important, right? In Control, as soon as you get full man down, full roster down, or even a couple of kills, you want to be aggressive and push up into their base. And Josh, Harry was locking it down in green. They did such a really good job on doing that to solidify the round. So Nonetheless, now it's going to be interesting to see if Elevate can answer back and do that in the same matter of fashion.
Hixie set up and waiting inside of office. The contestation coming through. Vortex and Nasty though will find these initials. Is the trade surely going to come through? Hixie, he can't be getting out with his life. Eventually, it is going to be Vortex to deal with him. Oh, that's a big gunfight as well. Can't quite survive, but did get bullets in towards Bricks. Nonetheless, he will give a bit of pressure away from the Orgless side, and they should be able to capture this. It seems as if Elevate are happy to give this one up.
Yep.
Actually, they're setting up for a retake over towards green here.
It looks like Elevate did actually give that up now, and they are going to push over towards green, but you still have Harry and Nasty to worry about over here, but as I say that, they do get taken down. Now that's 3 down for the side of Orgless. Now Elevate need to start running and get towards their spawn. Here it comes. The spawn trap could potentially happen right here, right now, but keep in mind, Orgless did capture that B site, so they have plenty of time to rotate over towards A and work that, but nonetheless, it's going to be very hard to do when you have Bids set up here on top green and you have Elevate locking down this mid-map control.
Yeah, very, very difficult. But as you rightly pointed out, they have a lot more time than Elevate did previously to try and make something work. But Denzer on the flank. There goes Josh. Looking for a little bit more as well, but one has slipped the net. That's going to be nasty, and all of a sudden a flurry of kills puts Elevate in a really dangerous spot. Weeman is going to find Vortex. If he could find a second, that would be massive. He has slowed them down and has found a second. He really, really slows the push down, so well played from Weeman, but nonetheless, Elevate bled a little bit of time over towards B here, or A I should say, as the kills do start to come through. But Orgless, at least for them, they are out of their spawn.
That's right, and it looks like, too, if you take a look at number 7, Josh, he's going to probably try to rotate around and not necessarily push this from the green side. That's kind of like a choke point. You don't necessarily want to everybody have rushing through that one site, but Orgless, they still have a little bit of time left here to slowly play, but you have Bids worried about that rotation, so he's going to lock this down. He might come in contact here with a couple of members of Orgless. He does get some shots in there. Now Harry gets taken out. Nasty does get the trade out on Hixie, but Bids still locking down that backside. He knows that they're going to come around through that flank and Elevate. Nonetheless, Weeman does take down 2, and Denza's just locking down the satellite side. So now Orgless with 35 seconds left. It's going to be a little bit harder to break here, but nonetheless, you got Harry, too, who's on the flank, and he has to worry about Hixie, and Hixie does take him out. Weeman gets that trade on Vortex. Now their spawn is clear, so they can be a little bit aggressive and push up a little bit now that they have numbers, but they have to worry about Nasty here, who's in caution. Nasty does take down that kill on Bids, so he could open this up for his team, but you have Denza to worry about on that satellite. Nonetheless, 10 seconds left on the clock. This is going to be very hard for Orgless to take back, and here we go, Ton. It's just one of those situations. Both these teams are trading back and forth, trading rounds.
Very, very well played from Elevate. You're right, though, trading back and forth has kind of been the whole situation with these two teams for quite some time. This time around, though, this round goes to the defensive side. A little bit more hard work for Elevate to come up with there than it was for Orgless in that first round. So bear that in mind as we do potentially head over towards that final round. Orgless will be the happier of the sides right now.
All right. So now leading into this, it's going to be interesting to see how Elevate plays this time. You know, last time they kind of aggressively pushed at B, so I wonder if we'll see maybe a split push or maybe an A push at first off the break, but nonetheless, looks like Elevate is flying towards B, and they don't see actually Vortex going underground. He does get that kill onto Bids. Very, very important kill there.
Oh.
But Elevate, and he gets a nade, a strong arm. 3 down there for Orgless inside of Elevate, but Weeman still set up onto this point, does manage to take down 2. Can he get the 3rd? No. Harry actually takes him down, so it was looking like a pretty good start there for Orgless, but Elevate can't be able to answer back and get some of those kills. Weeman, beautiful entries from them.
Yeah, Weeman really has been the thorn in the side of Orgless throughout this control so far. He was a big reason as to why Orgless weren't able to stretch their legs a little bit more over towards the A site when they got that initial break. After they did get spawn trapped, Weeman played his life very, very well inside of green. Vortex, though, getting very, very aggressive once again, but Elevate's starting to make some progress over towards B. Plenty of lives traded away, but it looks as if Orgless are happy to give this one up.
Yep, get set up onto that A site. Essentially, A is the harder site to capture, essentially, right? So,
Oh yeah.
getting set up onto that satellite. It looks like Josh is already there, and he can just lock that down the whole entire time. They got 1 minute and 30 seconds left. Elevate able to solidify that B capture, but overall, gonna have to wait and hopefully make a collapse onto this point here, but it's really hard when you got Orgless laying down now. That's 3 down for Elevate. Nasty's gonna try to find another on Hixie. Hixie does take him out, but nonetheless, they still have a minute left on the clock here to solidify this capture.
Looking to continue this hold though. No Orgless. Vortex just roaming, being an absolute nuisance as best as he can. The problem is, even if they see him, they have to turn around. They have to deal with him. If they know he's there, they have to deal with him. They can't just leave him behind or they're going to get flanked. Elevate though, pushing forward into bricks are going to get taken down, but in a better position than they were previously. Well, they're in a good position here. The flank is on. Kill towards the back coming through as well. Harry's the only one to answer back. He's going to get cut down. Hixie's inside. Elevate or inside. The kills are followed. That's a stack going to come on through here as well. That's
scary.
getting up very, very quickly. 3 minutes side. The point. Elevate. The break has to come through if you're Orgless. Has to come now. You got to make the push. Oh my goodness me. How has Josh died to Hixie at the end as well? That's a massive round for Elevate. They find the one flurry that they needed. And that's all you need when it comes to control sometimes. You could have lost the last 15 gunfights. You win 4 in a row, you can win the round very, very quickly.
Very fast. Great stuff from Elevate. that was that Vortex strong arm play. Oh, that was right off the break. That was so funny. Nonetheless, good stuff from Elevate. Like you said, even if there's 15 seconds left on the clock, when it comes to control, you don't want to give up because, like you said, it doesn't matter. 1, 2, 3 kills that are important, or even just that one, you can fly right on through there. And Elevate, good stuff coming in from them and doing that. So now on to the attacking side. You're going to see Orgless start to push towards that B site. Harry manages to take down Denza, but does get traded out by Wee Man. Like you said, Wee Man has been the thorn in Orgless' side at 24 and 12 right now, but he does get taken down by Nasty now. Josh onto this point. Does get a tick there, but he does get taken out by Denza. So now Vortex, it looks like he's going to rotate over towards that satellite side. Does get that kill on Hixie, and hopefully maybe just kind of hold that out until maybe his teammates come over. But it looks like a little bit of a distraction. Nonetheless, still fights and trades coming over on that B side.
I think the thing is there for Vortex, it's like, okay, just make it so that they have to still keep an eye on A here.
Yeah.
As we do make this push over towards B. Distraction tactics, as you said. It doesn't have to be about necessarily doing the work in terms of the slaying side of things. It can really just be about making the pushes through and distracting the team away, removing resources from where you want to make the push. And if you're Orgless, it was B. He made the push over towards A to distract, but keep an eye on Hixie with his artillery. Something that could definitely be something to keep an eye on towards the end of this round, especially if A's being captured by Orgless. That is kind of where it's going to start coming into play. They get the clear out here, though, and Orgless will have to fight on through. Still a minute of 40 remaining. They do have a very slight life advantage. Orgless can just take their time here, a minute and a half to go.
You know, it's funny you mentioned Wee Man being the thorn in Orgless' side, and if for Elevate, that's kind of Vortex. He's been setting himself up in perfect positions, like you said, and getting those kills to essentially where it's just pulling a distraction from a site. And overall, now Orgless does manage to get those 2 kills and flood right on into the A, and there goes the streaks coming in from Hixie. So can he connect? A couple of kills here, and he does manage to take out 1, but Orgless does take out 2. And the trades do come in now, but Josh left alone onto the point. Still a minute left on the clock, but he does take out 2 kills. That was actually a very, very important kill. Contest comes in now. Orgless, they're gonna have to answer back into these kills, but it's really hard when you got Elevate there and bids going off right there on that satellite. So nonetheless, Orgless do get cleaned out, but now they have Vortex again to worry about that mid-map waiting for his team.
It's interesting to see the difference in it, isn't it? You know, you look really at Wee Man at 26 and 17, although Hixie not far behind. The AR battle really has been on the Elevate side, but the SMG side of things is where Orgless have had their fair share of luck, but a couple of gunfights with the SMGs coming through here for the Elevate side. That's a big Orgless push, shut down very, very quickly. The lives are very, very close. The time ticking. 30 seconds to go now. Orgless need to start making this push from somewhere. But they're still trying to find Elevate. That's the problem. They need to get rid of him or they're just going to be running in completely blind. Shot's going to come through. Harry, Vortex both going down. This is looking more and more like an Elevate wave. But 2 kills start to come through. That's going to be Orgless making things maybe a little bit more interesting here. This is a huge gunfight. If Josh can win it, can't quite find it. Now Nasty left all alone. Needs to get inside. He is inside, but do they know that Bids is there? Yes, they do. They get the trade. Nasty needs to go massive, but Hixie finds 2. I don't think Josh has got the legs for it. Elevate. Take the control. A 3-1 win. And they take a 2-1 lead in this series, and that is a convincing win of the control. Felt as if they were really in the driving seat most of the way through.
Most definitely. And, you know, Tan, you said it yourself. When there's those couple of kills that you get and you can fly onto the point, it doesn't matter as far as lives go and how much time is left on the clock. And Nasty right there, if he had those 2 kills, right, caution on the side of that hill, they would have had it. They would have had it because he had his teammates right behind him in green, right? So, oh, that was so close. Nonetheless, it's tough. It's tough if you're Orgless, but nonetheless, Elevate looking really good now, being up 2-1 in the series and going into this next map on Hardpoint. Checkmate. I was like, wait a second. I had to look at my notes. Checkmate. I don't know, Ton. Who are you feeling on this one? You think Orgless can answer back from that one?
You know, map number 1 was super, super close. Leaning towards Checkmate. I'm curious who won at the weekend. Let's actually have a look. Checkmates. I mean, they traded it again. First series, it was actually Orgless that won it. The second series, it was map number 1 between these two, and Elevate won it, but then got reverse swept. So I mean, it's just such a weird dynamic between these two. It is very, very difficult to sort of ascertain which way it is going to go. But Checkmate coming up, and I think Orgless would have looked at this one and said, right, okay, you know, we feel pretty good about that raid, search and destroy if we do get there. But I mean, you say that. The last time these two played on Raid was in the second best out of 5 in the grand final of the weekend, and it was actually Elevate who took that. So, at this point in time, I mean, who's the happier party? It has to be, you said, Elevate. They have to be feeling good heading into map number 4. I think, you know, honestly, I mean, myself, I'm making these comparisons between different series between these two. I think it's just kind of like, well, let's just see how it works out. I think that's what it's like for both these two teams. See how it plays out when we get there. And very, very well played by them in that control specifically. They head over towards Checkmate with a chance to close it out. And this would leave them in a really, really nice spot, 4-0 in the general, in the league so far. Nice spot to be in, but if you're Orgless, that would be a second loss as well. So if you need this more, it's probably Orgless the ones that need it more. Let's see if they can turn this one around, though. We know that these two teams, as mentioned, close all the way through the series that they have been playing. I'm really not sure which way this one goes now, though. But thinking towards Checkmate, thinking towards where those battles have been important. It's been about those ARs. It's about Harry against Wee Man for me. I think that's where the difference is going to be made between these two. I think other than that, it's super, super close. I think it is a very close battle between Harry and Wee Man, but it depends who steps up to the plate here. Whoever does, I think, will probably go on to win this map and send us to a map number 5 potentially, or is it going to be Elevate taking it 3-1? Let us know in the chat which way you think this one's going to go. Again, I'm just looking forward to seeing how the rest of the series does pan out. It's been very, very close so far. Back and forth, trading game modes and maps, but I don't know. We got a good show coming up for the rest of the evening, though, haven't we? Yeah. Of course, we've got a very good game coming in towards the second one, where we've got to see if Team War can eventually get something going against Pushing Gaming, who are both sat on 0 wins so far before their very first game tonight. So we'll keep an eye on some of the results that are coming on through. And then we got the show over in North America a little bit later on in the evening. We've got a long shift if you're over here in the UK or in Europe, of course. But if you're staying up with us, we thank you for hanging out. We thank you to everybody who is coming in to chill and hopefully enjoying some Challengers COD. But it's nice to be back in and amongst it, isn't it, Ellen? A few week break for us, and I mean, I literally had a birthday in between the times that we've been casting. I'm nearly 30. I'm nearly... Do I look 30?
Oh, no, you don't. I mean, do I? Mine's this weekend.
No, Bryce is like 36 or something like that. I'm sure he's not. He's not.
I thought. I heard he was 42. I don't know what you're talking about. Shh, she doesn't hear us. Don't worry, he doesn't know.
He definitely hears us.
Oh gosh. Anyway.
It's all right. You'll take it out on me rather than you. Don't worry about it.
I gotta give him a little bit sometimes a little bit of stink. But nonetheless, Elevate, formerly known as Passion last season, I was gonna point out really quickly that they were undefeated. So I'm curious if they can hold that this time around and maybe solidify a win in the finals. But nonetheless, very, very good team. These two teams are just so contested. And now, as I say that, here we go. Elevate has a little bit of a small little lead, but Orgless nonetheless contesting this hill, and you know, with 25 seconds left on the clock, they're gonna have to start thinking about that P2 rotation. And looks like the trades and the contesting still happening, but Hixie and Wee Man managed to get a couple kills on that, so looking to be in a very good spot. But they have Harry to worry about over here on to the P2 rotation, and if they can get this kill, they can get the spawns.
Looking for it. They will continue holding these spawns. I mean, this is the perfect start of your Elevate. This is exactly what you want, but Orgless, big flood back towards the green side. Let's see, Vortex is going to fold. Denza doing his best to just try and find a couple. Can he find the second? That would be ludicrous. Isn't able to quite get away from Nasty. See the push coming through, though. Trying their best, but tell you what, Elevate are holding this really, really well. Wee Man. I mean, I said he'd be important. He's 8-2 off the break.
Yeah.
What a start for him.
Walking down the spawns. Wee Man, like you said, this was an AR battle, and he's coming to life in this one. 8-2, not a bad start. Again, kills just keep coming in on the side of Elevate. Orgless, they really need to start slaying on. Producing some slaying power here if they want to come back into the series. But nonetheless, they are set up onto that new rotation underneath the plane there. Harry does manage to take down 2. Can he get the third onto Bids? But nonetheless, Orgless now hopefully locking down this plane. They can get some time and come back into this.
Yeah, it's a difficult one to really get a load of time. My goodness me, Wee-Man has just deleted Vortex, and well, Nasty's just killed himself. So crazy goings on down below. That was insane. Vortex was pre-aiming him, and Wee-Man's taking his head off. Obviously feeling it, heading into map number 4. 11-6 out of him, continues to show that dominance, and Denza down below will just happily trade out these kills. Hixie now. Oh, is he going to get bad timing? Yes, he is. Nasty. Well read. What's the challenge? Wee Man is going to fall. And the challenge is coming through here from Orgless. So finally some time under their belts and a spot to pick up a little bit more of that as well. But the rotation over towards P4 is going to belong to Elevate. Ready and waiting for the Orgless side to push across. The deficit is not what it was, but it is still bad. Ends up finding 2 on the rotation as well. Josh will find one of his own though, so the ARs of Orgless are finally coming to play. But them are still 60 points behind, but they will break through here, Ellen. Rotation over towards P4, much better out of Orgless.
How nasty. That's 3 down on the side of Orgless. We managed it. They still have a lot of time to scrap up on here. Hopefully push through and flip that spawn, because you still have Elevate to worry about on that new rotation, but nonetheless. Orgless still managing to hold this down. Vortex. And that plane control on this map is just so important. You can literally watch all sides of it. Vortex does manage to take out that kill now. And now it looks like Orgless did manage to flip the spawn exactly. They pushed through. And they got the sides for the next rotation. But nonetheless, Elevate still managed to get up a little bit of scrap time. And Orgless is still down. But going over to this construction hill, Josh is already set up. And you're going to slowly start to see Elevate flood through the back. Nasty kind of in a scary situation. Bids does manage to take him out. And now Elevate managed to turn the tide. And again, flip the spawn. And now Orgless spawning out.
Nice. My goodness me, Bids. Finding the snappy shots up top on the plane. It really has just been Elevator kind of dominating this area, hasn't it?
Yeah.
The AOs really have been outstandingly good. Weeman has slowed down, but I can't imagine the 8-3 pace off a hill and a half would have been able to continue. Nonetheless, the rest of his team picking up the slack where he may have left it after his initial good start. 133-61. Elevate want this done in 4. Do not want to be facing another Search and Destroy, but you look at the SMGs of Orgless, really struggling right now, whereas on the side of Elevate, a different story. Just going in and around positive, causing issues, causing problems. Or Denza,
Big kill.
or Hixie. And that is big. You're very right. When these gunfights do come up to these SMG fights, they have been won by Elevate. Yes, the AR side of things is fairly even. Really, if you're Orgless, you have struggled on the SMG front. They need to start heating up very, very quickly, and this game can turn very, very fast. They can pick up some good points here on P1 and hold down rotation towards P2, but Denza just been so annoying. You can't even see Nasty, and he's firing through the wall. Did you not see the video that Merkin Maven put up at the weekend? My goodness. Phenomenal out of the Elevate side, but Josh finds 2. Can they lock the time in? Absolutely not. Elevate aren't even giving them an inch at the moment. Orgless struggling to breathe now. 17 seconds remaining. A rotation to P2 belongs to Orgless, but they need to hold it hard.
Yeah. And definitely Nasty just trying to clean up some of that scrap pushes, but nonetheless, like you said, Orgless, they need to hold this if they want to get back into this game, because Elevate right now in this terms of slaying power is looking so strong. We need Vortex to come back to life here, but Josh does manage to take out Bids, but he does get traded out by Denza. Now Denza's in the back to worry about, so Orgless, a couple of those triangles are going to be looking for him. They know he's back there. Looks like Nasty's going to try to find him. He does find Denza now into the back, so it's good for Orgless as Elevate does fly in through the front, but Elevate does get 4 down in the front, pushing through now. Not sure exactly if they know that they spawned up, but now they do. Push through there, don't see anything, turn around. And now Orgless is spawning out. There's only 20 seconds left onto this hill, so Orgless essentially, with the deficit essentially getting so large, they can't necessarily keep giving up so much scrap time because Elevate's just slowly sucking up that hill time.
Yeah, if you're Orgless, you need to be nearly perfect now. It's not impossible, but I mean, that deficit hasn't changed, and you had that rotation over towards P2. You want to at least be clawing some of it back, but Harry still trying to fight for his team at 22-16. He's leading the whole lobby right now in terms of kills down on the board. They need to follow it up with some points here. Harry going to get pushed out. Wingman is predicted. Hixie will find the kill down low, though. Can they get rid of him? Actually, from up top, they should be able to trade this one out. Vortex is there to get a hold of it, but Orgless need points. It's been a 100-point deficit for quite some time, if not a little bit more. They need to hold this well. They need to stop Elevate getting time on the board. They need to rotate around towards P4 well, then ultimately over towards P5. That's not what you want. You can't be giving over this scrap. You can't be giving over control of the next hill either. Elevate, driving seat, well and truly, they're buckled in. They're cruising along. Vortex trying his best to do something about the rotation over towards P3, but P4 is really where Orgless. They're going to have to do something here, and that might help things. My goodness, Harry, that's 3. They line up very, very nicely. P4 in control of Orgless.
Harry now on a 4 streak. Like you said, that was definitely key kills right there because essentially Weeman had the opening kills and they Elevate had control, but Harry easily just turned it around like that. Now Orgless holding this time. Harry coming alive on a 5 spree. Can Elevate take him down? But essentially he got COD timing right there. So Orgless still nonetheless, they have control over this site. Vortex does manage to take out Denza. Looking good for them. They can easily, if they hold these next 2 points, they can easily bring themselves back into this game. And that's all we need, like you said, from them ton is perfect hard point.
Yeah, they need play and control though. And for Elevate, taking what, 15 seconds or so, if that, out of that hill, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. The deficit is going to be reduced by around 30 or so. So it's a good hold for Orgless, but it needs to be perfect. Nasty, ready and waiting for the cross to start coming in. Denza with the pre-fire is going to back on down, but not quick enough. He does fall, but a big gunfight inside the hill. That's going to be Bids to win it. He gets around the back as well. He's now going to be a constant nuisance. They need to get rid of him, which is loud playing control to come on through. Weeman challenges outside of that now. Hixie can push around behind. Oh my god, Hixie. Josh gets his head top peeled off, and all of a sudden Elevator inside the hill. They're forcing Orgless away, and that was all because Bids got in behind. He got round the back. He got himself in this position that Denza was in. Orgless have to turn around. They lose control of the map. And now Elevate ready and wait to try and get something done here. Vortex can find 2. Is it going to be enough to try and lock this one in for Orgless? It is not. They're not close enough, and Elevate stamped their authority in Europe with a 250-162 win. 3-1 win in the series. And that is a very, very good win for the boys on the Elevate side.
Wow. That was huge coming in from Bids. You were absolutely correct. Because they were all set up there. Essentially, Orgless was set up and just easily broke it. It was just so crazy to see. And nonetheless, I just feel like they came alive a little bit too late. But nonetheless, Elevate came out for blood right there.
They certainly did. Well, Elevate taking down Orgless, and I was expecting a game 5. It looked like for a long while it would be back and forth and go all that way, and obviously they had to the other day. But Elevate stronger in Challengers Elite so far. And I have to say, especially on that last map, right? Orgless had a pretty good time. Looks like they were going to make the comeback for a good while, Ton, but unfortunately just not to be.
The deficit's too big at that point. When you're around 100 points down, even giving scrap up, as we mentioned, becomes like one of those where it's just they're getting slowly closer and closer. And because Elevate have got that huge cushion to play with, they know they can just play for that scrap every single time. They don't really need to rotate. They can punish them with 5-10 seconds here and there on a couple of hills, and all of a sudden they've got the win. But that was huge from Bids, as we mentioned. The fact that he slips in there behind Orgless were pretty well set up outside of that. The fact that Bids slips through, finds that kill from the front, gets around behind, creates a bad situation. But again, you could play that series back and have a completely different outcome between these two teams. It's so close. And I'm just excited to see how the story continues between them, in this Elite Challengers side of things in Season 3. And throughout the rest of the year, it's going to be good.
No, I 100% agree. I think these two are obviously going to fight many times. And that's actually going to be my follow-up question to it as well, right? When you have two teams like this who are obviously very close, skill-wise, and the way that they approach the game, and they obviously will scrim each other and play each other, whether it be in the cups or just a friendly or in Challengers Elite all the way through the year. Obviously, when it comes down to vetoes and such, they've got to be very careful and try to figure out. We even saw, when the cups go on last weekend, they're basically trading the same Mac between them. Ellen, how on earth do you think these two teams try and figure out how to get one up over the competition?
I kind of think about it as if I was competing again. Essentially, like, to get one up on the other team, change your strategy last minute. Because essentially, when you're playing and scrimming against the top teams for so long, and even watching VODs back, you start to learn their play styles. You kind of start to learn and predict maybe what they're doing. So change it up. I don't know necessarily maybe if Elevate did that here, but I'm sure from the cup just happening over the past weekend, they got reverse swap. Okay. They played a second best of 5. Orgless came out on top, but maybe they learned a couple of things that, they can implement and strategize here right now and coming into this Elite. And I think that they did that essentially 3-1. 3-2, 3-2 was it, I believe, in the Challengers Cup. So 3-1 fashion, they maybe change something up, maybe the role or a strategy, but nonetheless, even in Search and Destroy or Orgless is just amazing at search. They're a very good search team. But nonetheless, I would change your strategy.
Okay, yeah, I like that idea. I do like that. Maybe get a lot of scrims on a specific map and try to eliminate your weaknesses, then get it through the veto system and surprise the enemy team. I think Orgless got some new coaches recently, so hopefully that'll help them out in that area as well. A fresh pair of eyes. I think it's Lou T that's to pushing forward for it. But of course, it does mean Elevate now are 4-0 in that game as well. I believe Amelia Strays is also now 4-0. I saw an update earlier on, I think, on Twitter for that one. So two teams ready to go to war on top of the bracket so far, Ton.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how these two go up against each other when they do play. So we'll keep an eye out now how that one goes. I'm curious if that one's tonight, actually. I'll have a quick check in a second. But Amelia Strays are kind of the surprise package. We talk about Elevate, we talk about Orgless being the top two teams. They did meet in the Challengers Cup of the weekend with, I think Amelia Strays actually went on to lose against Team War, who we are going to see very, very shortly. I kind of just want to see that consistency from Amelia Strays continue, and if it does, then maybe we can see something good come out of the playoff side of things for them. As mentioned, they're kind of a surprise package to find themselves in here. Can they keep it up is the question. Yes, they're playing very, very well now. If they can keep this consistently all the way through, maybe even win the Elite Challengers Season 3 here in Europe, then maybe we can sort of start talking about them towards the end of the year. But it's interesting to see how they're going to continue, and may well continue. It's nice to see another team in and around the mix.
Yeah, it certainly is. I believe we're going to quickly jump over to another game in just a second. War versus 3G, I believe, is still ongoing. And these two teams are, of course, fighting at the moment. So we will jump in and spectate to see how that is going so far. Here is the current scores for it, though. At the moment, Team War is 250 to 231 on the first hardpoint Apocalypse. Team 3G, though, came back in the Search and Destroy raid 6-5. So a very close game between those two so far. I believe also they are currently in the middle of the garrison control. So we'll find out how that goes as soon as we can actually jump into that game. We cannot jump in the middle, of course, as anybody who knows who watches Call of Duty. But Ton, how do you think this one's going to go?
I mean, if you were a betting man at the beginning of this season, you would sort of look at Team War to be up and around the top. You know, Team War, formerly Los Galacticos, of course, the Spanish roster that is really being towards the top end of things here in Europe throughout the whole Cold War season, sitting at 0-3 right now. Going up against a team like 3G, who are 1-2, and 3G have been in there, although this with a slightly different roster now this time around. It's interesting because you would really expect Team War to be coming away with this one, but we know that they have had some difficulties. So they played without Journey at the weekend, instead with a Spanish young gun called Fusions, who came through, and they didn't play too badly, but it sounds like Journey's maybe having some motivational issues when it comes to Call of Duty, some issues with maybe his game, and at this moment in time, not really working out for Team War. I'd still expect them to be able to take this one, though. This is a game they really do need to win with 3G at 1-2, so War, it really is do or die for them. They're going up against Pushing Gaming after this, and 3G Pushing Gaming, you sort of look at that night and you think, well, a 2-0 for Team War you would expect, but one apiece in this one. Let's see how the Garrison plays out, and then we'll head into raid and potentially Moscow if we need it.
Yeah, I was kind of looking over how it's all gone so far in this poll and how both these teams have ended up playing out. I mean, don't get me wrong, right? Team War have played a couple of difficult games. Orgless and Obtained are not teams you can kind of, brush under the carpet, and they only lost to Obtained 3-2. They could possibly be doing better. We'll see how it goes, but obviously now they are trading 1-1 against Team 3G. It does mean out of 11 maps they've currently played, they've only won 11 maps so far in the season and lost 5. Other way around. I'm getting myself very confused with the numbers here. So I'll move on, but no, you are right. It's an interesting thing for Team War at the moment, because they were one of the favorites coming into this, right? We had a lot of Spanish teams come into Challengers Elite so far this stage, and we thought Team War would be one of the better ones. Ellen, do you want to weigh on who you think is going to win out of these two?
I would like to see. It's just Team 3G. I know that their synergy and their chemistry has really been shining. And they did. I know they did replace Detained for kids, right? So whether or not there's a struggle there, but looking at Team War, I was not expecting them to see them own 03 right now. So between no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, well, it could have been worse. I got a little update there, but I'll let you continue your thought.
Yeah, I was just gonna say between the two, I really would like to see War pull through this, because I know that they're a top team. Maybe just the last couple of weeks they've been struggling with some chemistry issues, or like I know Ton mentioned earlier, the game has changed a little bit with the recent update, but nonetheless, I would like to see them pull through.
Yeah, so here's the update I got. Team 3G are now 2-1 up in this series. They won the Control 3-1. So that's why I kind of wanted to let you finish and see what you thought about Team War, because they are on the cusp of losing another series here, potentially. Yeah. We are going to actually, I've been told, jump into that series so we can live react to everything that is going on. That'll be in just a few minutes. As soon as that game's ended and started again, we will jump into, I believe, Raid Hardpoint. and see just what is happening to Team War further on for this one. But Ton, we spoke that we expect them to do better, and they aren't. You know, we've seen another result come in. They're going to have to win 2 more maps.
Yeah, I'm just having a look through in terms of how things are lying at this moment in time. They'd be sitting at 0-4 if they go on to lose this. They got a game against Pushing Game, and they can still just about make it out of the bottom 2 because Obtain lost to Amelia Strays. It's not looking good for them any sense of the imagination. But if they lose this, they literally they've already played Obtained as well. I'm just having a look at the rest of War's games. Obviously they're playing against 3G, then Pushing Gaming. Then they're going to play up against Amelia Strays in their last game, who are currently 4-0.
They've
got some hard games to go. They've got some very hard games to go.
So
an interesting one to keep
in. Essentially, they played the easier.
Well, yeah. I mean, they've played some hard games, but it's still. I mean, they don't have easy ones left. Amelia Strays are playing up against Elevate while that game is going on in our next game as well, which is a super interesting one to keep an eye on with both teams undefeated. Hopefully we get to jump into that one at some point as well, because that's going to be super interesting to see how it does play out. But nonetheless, I mean, it's a very, very strange lay of the land that we have at this moment in time in Europe, and I think it's kind of been the same way all the way through. Yes, okay, there has been those 2 or 3 teams who have been at the top, but kind of on any given day, anyone could beat anyone. At this moment in time, it's kind of, well, a bit more, asserted that some teams are going to go on to win. But the fact that we're seeing a team like War at potentially 0-4 is crazy to me.
Yeah, and just for context, for anybody who is currently watching the stream and wondering why we're talking so much about where they're all standing, when it comes to the elite challengers and how it breaks down at the end, it does kind of fall into 3 brackets. The lower 2 are automatically eliminated. They have no longer playing in Challenger Elite. They have to requalify. They go out. The set, I think it's 3rd to 6th, will go into a playoff bracket, and they will try and play each other for the final 2 slots for the top 4. Let's get the standings up. It's going to make it a little bit easier for me to break down and kind of show everybody why we're talking so much about it and why it's so critical in this week for the teams to start getting some results on board to essentially keep themselves in the action here. But one more thing I want to talk about here is, of course, when you come towards the end, is technically, even if you came 6th in this standings, you can actually still end up winning Challengers Elite because of the way it ends up playing out right at the end of the season. And we're just waiting for the standings to be updated, and I can take you through it and kind of explain in a little bit more detail why it's so crucial and why we're kind of looking now at the matchups to go forward as well. Things like Team War, if they don't start getting some results on the board, they will have 0 chance. If you get into the lower 2, you have 0 chance of winning Challengers Elite at the end of all of this. As long as you're 6th or above, there is still a glimmer of hope.
And an example to sort of come through with on that one is Orgless in the previous season. 3-4 they started things in general season play, but then of course went on to win it. So I think it's one of those came within very close, I should say. Actually, I'm just double checking. Am I completely making that up? No, they did go on to win that. In season 2, didn't they? If I remember correctly. Yes, it was. I know I had something on Code Gamepedia, and I was like, "Hold on, that says that Passion won it." I'm like, "No, they didn't," and I was actually on the wrong thing completely. But yes, of course, it was Orgless who went through, even after finishing 5th with a negative record in the normal season. As long as you're finishing within the top 6, you don't necessarily need to be playing your best Call of Duty. You just need to be there, and then when it gets to the playoffs, where the money is on the line, that's when you need to be playing at your best. So if you War, you still have a chance to redeem your season, but it needs to start with this map and with the next map after that, and then this next series that's coming up against the other team who haven't won a series so far. So I don't know. It's a difficult spot to be in, but it's not one that they can't get themselves out of. It's still in their own hands at the moment.
Oh yeah, it's still in it. I think the biggest issue for us is obviously, when we talk about the difficult games coming up, is we know realistically there is a much less chance of them winning some of those big games, and it just happens to play out that way. What we're going to do now,
they need to win this.
They certainly do. What we're going to do now, as we wait for this game to start, rather than us give you the maths and everything else of how this is going to work, we're going to go to a very quick commercial break. When we come back, though, more action here on Call of Duty Challengers Elite. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you right after this. Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to Call of Duty Challengers Elite. I am sorry it was not a little bit longer of a break than we kind of wanted, but that's just how Call of Duty esports roll sometimes. But don't worry, we're coming back with some glorious action. Of course, my name is Bryce, joined again by my colleagues Ellen and Ton. So the game we are going to be looking at this time is basically for the top of the table. It's going to be a throwdown between Amelia Strays and a team we just saw a little bit ago, Elevate. So we're going to see which one of these two comes out on top. 4-0 at the moment, and it's time for the hard questions. Ellen, how do you think this game's going to go?
It's very hard to say, Bryce. Of course, Call of Duty, you never know. But honestly, my favorite for this one is going to be Elevate. They last season, obviously, formerly known as Passion, were undefeated in group play, but then they did fall short at Orgless, got second. But nonetheless, they've been a team for a minute. I think they have that chemistry there, and I'm not saying that Amelia doesn't, but I feel like against a team like Elevate, it's going to be really hard for them to come out on top. But nonetheless, I think it's going to be a great matchup either way.
No, I agree. I'm very much looking to them throwing down. Ton, how about yourself? How do you think this one is going to play out?
I'm kind of leaning the same way as Ellen just has there. I think if you to put your smart money anywhere, it would be Elevate. They have been playing very, very well. We've just seen them beat Orgless. They'll be feeling good about that, of course. I just think overall they're a more experienced team at the highest level in this game specifically, at least anyway, and over the past couple of games, if anything. So we would expect them to take this one, but Amelia Strays have been the surprise package. Nobody really expected them to be in this spot that they're in now. So the fact that we're seeing them going up against Elevate, it's not written in stone that they go on to win this, to lose this game. But I'm expecting a close one. I really am. If you look towards the Challenger Cup, of course, Elevate finished second. Amelia Strays finished in top 4, I do believe. I think they lost in the losers bracket finals, if I remember correctly, or semi-finals, somewhere along the line they lost. They lost to Team War. So it's one of those things. If they play well on the day, they have a good chance to do it. They're looking good at this moment in time. Just had a good win over Obtained. I believe it was a 3-0 as well. So interested to see if they can carry that form. But as I said, Elevate will be feeling nice too.
Yeah, they certainly will. Let's take a little look then at the maps for this upcoming game. See if that helps us decide how it's going to go down. And it's a pretty easy one if you do look at it that way as well. Raid Hardpoint, Raid Search and Destroy, Raid Control. I feel like there is a favorite map into it. Of course, we continue with Moscow Hardpoint and Checkmate, Search and Destroy. So a triple raid beginning, which is not a bad thing. It's a very good map and I very much enjoy watching and playing it. But does that mean we will see either Amelia Strays or Elevate go on top for this one? The biggest scalp so far that Amelia Strays have taken in Challengers Elite will be Orgless in a 3-2 game. Of course, Elevate just took them down as well. So it does say that maybe my colleagues are correct and leaning slightly towards Elevate could be the smart play in this one. But of course, it's Call of Duty. It is on the day. Anything could happen. Ton. Amelia Strays, what do they need to do to win this one against Elevate then?
You need to shut Weeban down. He was literally orchestrating that game throughout the previous series up against Orgless. If they can do that, then they're in a good spot to do something. Let's see if Watson can step up to the plate against some of the best opposition, of course, in Europe. He has been doing so. And let's see if he can just continue to level up. I mean, we remember Watson way back. I mean, when was the time when he went and competed over in America? Was it like AW time or something? It was a while ago, but nonetheless, the guy was absolutely phenomenal at his highest level. And I want to see if he can reach those dizzy heights once again. He's looking good so far. He's going to need a good game here up against Elevate to do so. And, well, if he does so, then maybe they do have a very strong chance. But it's going to come down to the AR battles for me, Bryce.
Oh, it's an interesting one. That certainly is interesting to think that's the way it could possibly play out in those AR battles. But do you disagree with anything he said there, Ellen?
No, not at all. Watson, again, I had the chance to catch the game against Orgless where they did win. It was, 3-2. Watson on the S&D, I know he was going off. He had like double-digit kills, 13 and 3, I believe it was. If not, he dropped even more, maybe close to 19. So contesting a team like Orgless, who just won this last season, they're looking pretty good. They are. So I'm not going to discredit them from that. But in order to shut Elevate down, essentially, I believe they're going to have to close out these the respawns. S&D, obviously, you already know they're looking really great, but close out the respawns, and like Ton said, to follow up with that, shut down Wee Man, because just coming from that last game, he was on fire. So if you're able to do that, then maybe you can solidify a win and be 5-0. But nonetheless, it's going to be very hard to do against a team like Elevate.
No, I fully agree, and I think it's one of the things we probably haven't touched on a lot so far in this broadcast, is the level of talent actually currently in Europe as well. I know North America gets touted about and kind of parodied out saying, these are the next guy for the league and the franchises and everything going forward, but there are some in this game that people have certainly got to take a look at here. People like Wee Man. Wee Man has performed well at a much higher level than this as well, right? He has played the pros, he has done a great job moving forward as well, and I feel like people forget that time.
Yeah, I mean, this guy's been at the top. He really has been. And I think we were unfortunate to not see him really at the highest level throughout. I think it was Black Ops 4 that was he on a team with a few of the different guys that didn't manage to qualify at that final playoff to try and make it that. I mean, look, he's been at the top level. He's finished within top 6 at huge events. He's playing well. And if he continues doing so, Elevate are going to be very difficult to beat.
Yeah, I think so. I think... one of the things I'll be looking forward to seeing potentially, when the world opens up again, we will see exactly who maybe gets pulled back into this. But it will be me and Ton taking this game, so thank you very much, Ellen. We will be casting over this raid hardpoint as we're straight on board with bids to begin with. A few shots going down as we head into P1 on the ring.
Well, here we go. Look, I'm not putting out a question for the side of course, Amelia Strays to go on to win this one, but it's going to be difficult. Elevate do kick things off with the majority of the points here, but if you are Amelia Strays, you have the side of the map that you do own control of here on Raid. I quite hope that standoff's coming in, and maybe we could just have a best out of 5 with standoff and Raid all the way through, Brycey. I mean, that's the dream, if I'm honest.
No, I don't disagree. I do not disagree. We'll see how that plays out when it comes down, but you're a big favour of the fan of this map. Right now, looks like scrap points will go in favour of Elevate, though. The Spawn currently in control of Amelia Strays. Denza going to be looking for a shot round the back here to try and squeeze this one through. Unfortunately, not got the bodies, but can they get the trades?
Trying their best to force their way through and not choosing any other route. So it is really about this fight towards back jungle. Watson holding this as best he can. He's going to get baited out here, though, but still guns Hixie. Well played from Watson. And the rest of the kills coming on through here as well. 3 ARs out from Amelia Strays over towards the back. The Krig's coming through in force. That's going to be 40 seconds still to play with here. So the rotation starts to come on through as well. Shaq's going to try and lock down the middle of the map. He's got some help from his teammates, but he cleans up the kills, as do the rest of his team. It's a cracking start for Amelia Strays. That's 30 more seconds to play with here.
Yeah, exactly. Getting a little bit caught up in art. Decides not to go through the ring. Ends up getting taken down. They could have had the rotation as well. They are going to hold on to the scrap time. 16 seconds. This one. Denza goes for one last challenge. But Shaxter opens up with one more two-piece. And now you've got to keep an eye. Elevate are locked in and ready in around Garrett. The pressure is now going to come in through Art, down driveway, and possibly Jim. Can they get the squeeze here, Ton?
Interesting to see which angle they're going to start to take this one from. It's 2 through the Jim's side, and looks like Jackster's ready just to go through the front door. He starts to make the move, finds one kill, gets behind the car. Wee Man, well, he is no longer destined for this world, you would think. There comes the collapse, and wow, Amelia Strays. It's not just about their rotations being solid and locking them in. That is a very, very nice break. And look at this, the rotational kills coming out on the second phase. Very well played. It's only really Bids that can do anything about it. And he's very dead. Garage locked in from Amelia Strays. They're going to break 100 before we even get over towards the basketball side of things. What a start this has been from them. That's been spawned from Wee Man for Elevate over towards the garage side, so maybe he'll contest it. He will not. And well, this is really been all Amelia Strays. Fantastic stop.
It really has. Fortunately, Elevate doing some great work here at the moment. They are trying to push them out as far as possible. Watson trying to make it work. Eventually will get shut down. Push them back to back laundry, though. In comes Piero, and he's going to be shut down as well. They've done a great job here now to hold off Amelia Strays to try and milk every single second they can out of this hard point. Doing so will bring them right back into this game with only a few points adrift.
Not far off. Let's see. I mean, Australia's looking to try and break on through, and I mean, it just seems as if that slaying power, the punching power that they have is very, very strong. But Denza with the Krig might slow that down. But Piero is the last one inside the basketball court to win this one. He will be dead very, very shortly, I'd imagine, though, as the collapse comes through. Elevate. The bleeding is momentarily stopped, and finally some kills starting to come on the board. It just seems as if all the flurries, well, have come through for Amelia Strays, and they do so once again. Can they do anything with this, though, as Bids defends on his own? It seems that they cannot, and they will rotate over towards P4. Wee Man break through, and that's maybe a little bit too easy, but the trade comes on through. Can Elevate break this through?
You see right now, Watson just trying to hold on to Paul's dead. Sees Beard, goes for the fire as well. Big gunfight for Watson, holding this down. His teammates pour through the pillars. Piero picks up 2, and they are in full control here once again. They've cleaned off a considerable part of the map, and it's going to be a hard break for now on Elevate. They're going to try and get through Paul Stairs. Watson's going to be holding them off. He sees 1 and 2, but can't pick up either of the kills, though. And here they come. Elevate swarming up Paul Stairs, trying to get this one down. A few kills going forward, but it may not be enough. Nukej trying to stay alive in this hill as well. Eventually cleared out as Watson trying to clear it himself. And that's going to be pretty much also rope for P5. The P1 rotation is now where the action is going to be.
It looks as if Amelia Strays are the ones that are going to be ready and waiting, I should say. Pixie's on a bit of a mission here. I mean, Watson has absolutely beamed him. And that is now jungle control over towards Amelia Strays. And ultimately, everything they could have wanted. I mean, after the first rotation, it's only about, what, a 40-point game? It could have been a lot worse if you're Elevate. Looking at how things kicked off, you're not necessarily too displeased with how things are looking now, as they did really claw their way back into it throughout P3 and 4. Nearly a very nice kill coming through from Wee Man. Can't quite clean it up, but Bids can't hit his shots there, but still Elevate in control. Amelia Strays will be happy with this. They've got the rotation they want.
Doing this game, from what was pretty much a big deficit over the first few rotations, Elevate have managed to hold on ton. And now you got to ask yourself, can they get this rotation? This is where it started to go wrong last time as well. They just couldn't get anywhere near Kitchen. As you can see, Amelia Strays are looking to pretty much put the lock back on to Kitchen one more time. Push now going to come through Laundry. Can they rebuff it?
This time, as mentioned, the push is going to come down this side. Wee Man will win this gunfight this time around, though. They couldn't do it last time, but much better from Elevate. They fight from a couple of different angles. Watson knows the push is going to come from behind, but Wee Man will win that one. That's as clean as you could possibly like if you're an Elevate fan, but here come the rest of Amelia Strays. Pushing through the front door. It's Chaks down Piero. They're going to keep going, but Denzel lines them up. There's 2 for him. Wee Man was there for the bait also. And they are able to lock this one in. There's another kill coming in the hands of Denzer and Elevate, clawing their way back into this one. Chakster, though, still fighting for this 20 seconds. Amelia Strays do not want to give anything up. They know the side they're spawning is where they want to be, and they just keep on punching through that front door. Hixie is there to try and do something now. 14 seconds remaining here at Kitchen, and it's being fought for tooth and nail all the way through. Ultimately, it is Elevate who come off better. They're still going to be slightly behind as we head up the Growards Garage, but it was nearly 90 to 100 points at one point, Brycey. They've done so well to catch back up.
They really have, and if you're an Amelia Strays fan, you're sitting here pretty much with white knuckles, hoping they can hold on and hoping they can continue to put in good work. Currently about 20 points up, but the pressure now coming in from Elevate. Dender and Beats both picking up kills. Piero Cole about to come under an awful lot of fire as he tries to unload that AKU. It's not going to do him any good. Doesn't get any kills. It's only going to be Nukej in the area. And it looks like this has been ripped away from them as well. Wee Man and Hixie both here and ready. Nukej gets one. Trade's coming through for it regardless, but it will still be Amelia Strays with the hard work to do. Piero trying to get into it as well. Gets Wee Man, but it's now 1v1 in the hill as he tries to fly it over. And Bids is just going to play peekaboo, refusing to engage on that one. There is absolutely no point. Teammate coming over to engage as well. Wee Man says, thank you for the scrap time. Now can we sort out a rotation?
That was a good solid 10 seconds he said he had inside the hill there, though, Bryson. I mean, it stops Elevate, ultimately extending that lead away. But this break coming on through over towards the basketball court now. They find a couple of kills inside of Kitchen. They know Amelia Strays will still be back there, but here comes Wee Man, here comes Hixie. The gunfight's starting to go in the direction of Elevate. Nukej really needs to stay alive as best as he can, but the fights need to be won towards the back as well. Piero finds one, he will get dealt with, and all of a sudden Amelia Strays sport out. And Elevate get control A very, very close game between these two. Both going to break 200 points here. Brycey, 30 seconds remaining on this hill.
Yeah, Hexy trying to do the work here, holding off the front. It's very easy to do a lot of the time. Nuke J just trying to play his life, but actually goes in, finds one and has to reload. Switches out to a Krig, he finds on the floor, and Nuke J just fighting tooth and nail for this scrap time now. Big trying to do a little bit of work himself. More players flooding through the stairs. Hixie comes in. Nuke J staying alive. Sees
oh
Wing
my
as
god.
Well. That's now a 5 streak, and it does eventually go down to Denza, which not only will clear them out of this one for a very few points, but more importantly, stop streaks at this stage of the game.
That was massive. It was looking very, very good there for Nuke J. Fight's been won on poolside by Watson as well. All of a sudden, it's only bids there. Watson finds 3 very fast kills. Amelia Strays are setting themselves up in a good spot here. Brycey, 20 seconds remaining. They've got pool control, they've got P1 control, and they've got control of Courtyard in the middle as well. If you're Elevate, this has to be a very, very solid break.
It does, and this is a horrible break to do as well. Watson trying to just play around the jacuzzi. And it's already going to be 2 kills for Nuke J, but Bids managed to get 1, but only 6 seconds left to go. They have to go straight into it. It's a pre-aim. Bids is going to run in. He goes straight down. Pre-fire coming in as well. Amelia Strays take the win, and that was a close game, even if it looked 50 points adrift.
Very, very close. It was really touch and go who was going to get anything going towards the end of this game. Nobody really was able to take a lead, but this is the play. Nuke J finds a few kills and ultimately a bit of a swing over towards that Amelia Stray's side. All of a sudden, they can make the rotation over towards P4, which is where they closed it out. Very, very well played by them. 252-200. But ultimately, you have to say the start from them is another big reason as to why they find themselves in that spot. It was like 90 to 100 points that they had in the lead by the time we even headed over into that second rotation. So Elevate did well catch up, but not enough. You can't allow a team to get that sort of lead in hardpoint, and ultimately that is what kind of cost them in that one. Really well played by Amelia Strays. The rotations were solid. They were being a nuisance when there was scrap time, looking like it was definitely going to go over towards the side of Elevate, and just an overall very, very well played game.
Yeah, I will say this, right? Amelia Strays did play well, but I think Elevate got a little bit unlucky in a few positions. The score deficit really was because of that P2 hold, and then the fact they somehow managed to get the rotation all the way to P3 in Garage. Once that happened, of course, you're going to be down at that point as well. There were, of course, other big plays coming through. We saw Nuke J. We also got to talk about Watson, right? That AR doing wonders for him in holding very important power positions. You don't need to get the most amount of kills in the game if you're holding something as important as pool stairs.
It's difficult. I mean, just trying to remember back some of the moments as well. I mean, this is a big one. Look, there was 23 seconds when Piero got in there, and he stayed alive until what? There was like maybe 8 or 9 seconds left on Garage. Like, it's them sort of moments. And Nuke J, he gets in. There is no right for Amelia Strays to be picking up this kind of time. He had 0, and I mean 0 support at that point. It's all on him. Small individual plays make that 10-20 point difference before we're even towards P4. Or P4 in that rotation. And when they're set up in that situation, it's easy for Amelia Strays to close it out. Very, very well played. Well, we're going to be heading into map number 2 shortly, Bryson. I mean, I'm not sure which way this one's going. I mean, the search and destroy for Amelia Strays has looked good. If they can continue, this could be 2-0.
Yeah, it really could. And hey, we'll have to find out what's going on here. We knew that Amelia Strays were going to be a force to be reckoned with. We did think Elevate was going to be the better team, but it may be too soon to call exactly how it is in fact going to go. But, you know, 250 to 200, I said it before, but I'll say it again, you know, I feel like the game was closer than that even justifies. Like, if that was a 248, 250 finish, that would have made more sense to me because both teams really were fighting all over it. I knew it was probably over when they got to that P5 and they lost that first set of engagements because P5 is, you know, it's a central hard point, but it's actually horrible to try and break. There is so much cover. There are so many corners to get in through. It's hard to get a pinch on because of the way it's basically a cross section. A lot of the times in Call of Duty, you talk about those middle hard points being contested or being something you don't expect to get an awful lot of time on. P5 doesn't always play out like that because of the amount of cover there is actually there and the setups you can get on it.
I think the thing is, if you have a bit more time on your hands, it's maybe not so bad because you've got 4 different angles to hit it from, but it's about getting yourself into those positions. And it's hard to do when you see the other team are 5 seconds away from hitting that 250 mark. You don't have the time. And if you're in that situation as Elevate, unfortunately with that scrap that Nuke J managed to get a hold of by a couple of kills, that's the difference time maker, isn't it? You don't have the time to push around P1. You don't have the time to go all the way through Mansion after going around Pool to try and get that perfect break. You have to flood and hope you win the gunfights. Unfortunately for them, they couldn't. And of course, Amelia Strays will walk away as winners. So it is difficult. It's always a bad spot to be in when the score is that close, but you are behind and it's not very far away for the other team to go on to win it. It's always a case of you need to be perfect to a certain degree. And difficult spot for Elevate to be in, but you know, you have to say, very well played for Amelia Strays to get themselves to that point. I think it's those small moments where Piero and Nuke J are getting inside those hills and just denying time, even if you know you're not going to pick up a lot of time yourself, like that moment in Garage, like that moment on basketball. They get themselves in there, they stop that time going over towards the other side. You may not gain a lot for it, but at least you are stopping those points bleeding away.
They certainly are. So I was trying to look up a few stats for this one to try and figure out exactly who I thought was going to walk away with the search and destroy. And I have a massive stat sheet in front of me, but this is actually, I'm going to go off the cuff with this one and change something else. So I will take Orgless as an example. And so last time Elevate played Orgless, they only won, I think, 1 out of 4 S&Ds. That one S&D, though, was Raid. So clearly, one of the maps they're probably a little bit more confident on at a high level in Call of Duty.
Always difficult to say when you've got a team like Amelia Strays who, like, look, we know the names on this squad. We know they've been around. You know, Chaxter, of course, from last year and causing issues then, or even a Black Ops 4. We know Watson from times gone by. Nuke J is a little bit of a newer one to my knowledge, but Piero's been around for a while as well. But then you look at the size of the team of Elevate and the veterans on this squad when it comes to specifically the challenger side of things. They've been here for a while. They've been playing online COD for some time, and during the COVID era, they've done very, very well. It has to be said, especially over like last year. Amelia Strays coming into this aren't so cold underdogs, but they take round number 1 in the search and destroy. They'll be happy with that. After a 1-0 lead in this series, they'll be looking to crack on here.
Certainly will, and I mean, Dre, thought it's way too early to bring this up, by the way, but I'm going to do it regardless because I'm going to go wild here on the stream. Could you imagine if this was a 3-0 to Amelia Strays? Like, it would be. It's obviously not something that is realistic, but could still very well happen.
Oh yeah, it could at this point. It's difficult to contemplate what it would mean. Really. I mean, it's always the thing, like, when you sort of look at a new team, they come in here, and if they beat one of the best teams around, go 5-0, still
they've already played Orgless as well. That's the other thing. They've already played some of the big teams.
Then they very well could be going undefeated. But as we said, it isn't necessarily about how you play during the regular season. It really is about getting yourself to playoffs and make sure you play your best COD then. At this moment in time, though, Amelia Strays seem to be putting up some of their best right now. They're a man down here, but that bomb should be going down.
However, here comes the hit. It's now a 4 versus 2. Amelia Strays are in an awful lot of trouble. They try to get out of there. Jackson goes down, and Watson has to 1v4 to make this come through. Already sees bits. Denzel's going to try and get him. He tries to duck out Watson. It's not going to work. Watson cannot relocate in time. There are too many bodies pushing on him far too fast. And that will now be 1-1 between these two squads.
Well played by Elevate. Just sort of pick off where they need to. It's a gunfight, isn't it? As soon as they can't get away, it's always a bad spot to be in. I think, though, if Watson gets up there, it's still always a difficult situation, but not improbable. Still, though, I think Chaxter and Watson, if they both get away there, it's a doable, but Elevate now. Get this one back. 3 in that round from Denzer.
Let's see how they move forward into this attack then. Elevate looking like a B hit potentially, or at least trying to get a little bit of control. 2 players keeping an eye out. We've got Wee Man going through pool as well. Very slow push here from Elevate to kick this one off as they look for any information about where they can potentially find a gap in the defenses. Amelia Strays probably communicating over every single stun and nade that they throw, trying to figure this one out. Nuke J looking to pillars, isn't going to find Hixie. That bomb is going to go down. There's a player right next to him as well. Beats is in P5 as well, and Nuke J's in trouble. Nuke J tries to get out of there, and Wee Man will eventually shut him down, and Elevate have full control of P5. Look at this stack. They're all around here. Watson, though, manages to pick one player off. Piero coming through as well. Hixie trying to hold on here as he's in P5 and gets two. Great plays, and it's now Chaxter all alone. Can't do anything. Elevate with P5 control will take the win.
Nicely done. Kind of like the end of that first map, but roles reversing on a completely different game mode.
So
Everybody's
like
inside. Well, no, there was a lot of people inside a courtyard, so it was somewhat similar.
So the only thing is that they were in a similar part of the map.
No, the same part of the map. It was set up very nicely. It was like they were holding P5, except they had the bomb down at B.
I don't even know what to make of that comparison.
Yeah, you've worked for me long enough. Just roll with it.
I will just carry on as already fights going down. It's going to be ring where all the action has thrown down. Advantage to him with the Strays though. Wee Man pre-aiming pillars here. It's going to see absolutely nothing. Beads trying to see if anybody's still into ring. It looks like Amelia Strays are re-evaluating their push here. Wee Man's going to potentially have a look, Zig. I didn't know whether he was going to push it. I thought it was a bad play if he did. Obviously, he agreed with me. But now, both teams are going to be playing a little bit blind. They haven't seen each other in a while, so they'll be trying to figure out exactly what is happening.
It's a horrible time when you got this sort of situation. It's almost a relief that you've been shot at from Bids. So at least you know where he is. Gonna be straight down the middle of those. Wee Man went in for the kill. Well, they got a little bit of info on Bids. I don't think they'd be expecting the wraparound to have come in so quickly. I think Nuke J is probably going to get caught out here. The longer Bids takes, the more likely it becomes that he's coming from this direction.
Oh, Bids now looking. Will he find Nuke J in P5? Nuke J's seen him as well. He's tried to get out of there. 16 health left. Problem being is he's now going to recover that health, kill two players, and defuse the bomb. I don't know if Bids is Superman, but we are about to find out. Sees Nuke J go kitchen. He's going to have to dive pool stairs and do this very, very fast to find the players. Try and desperately look around. Bedroom already gets shot in the back. Nuke J's going to be sitting in there and takes him down eventually. And that brings us back to 2-2.
Nicely done from Amelia Strays. Shots coming through from Nuke J to close that one out. 2-2 now.
Let's see. Let's see what happens this time around. Currently, Bids with the bomb. And this is going to be a big hit towards B here as well. Players flying out towards ring. It's all going to fall onto Nuke J. He tries to furiously stay alive around Laundry as the players just keep swarming in on him. They eventually take it down. They now have control. Players Piero is going to be in the area at the same time. But eventually, Amelia have had to give this up. Chaxter, though, on the flank gets seen by Bids. They are not letting any weaknesses in this defense so far show as they have taken control of Laundry.
Sneaky little beaver. There he goes. Watson pushes on through and Chaxter helps him find the kill. They're not able to stop this ultimately going down, though. Fans are going to get caught out. And that's Wee Man after the bomb goes down, and that's the round.
I will also point out at this point, in the fact that Elevate did so much good work there, I think they may have got a little bit compressed. They were a little bit worried about Chaxter, I think, in top art, because they got first blood and got control of the B site. Then weren't able to really get anything go through and didn't get a single kill after that first blood.
Just well work from Amelia Strays. I think they just knew the position they were in, backed up a little bit, made things a little bit awkward, and all of a sudden they're still in the lead. 3-2. It's felt like Amelia Strays have always been sort of the one dictating what is happening. Let's see though. It's a B hit once again.
They have a good position here as well. This is always a horrible position, by the way. Holding Zig. just not easy to do, but Watson will be that player to make sure they don't get flanked early. If they try and make this play here, they've got to be careful of who is in and around Laundry at the same time. You can already see Chaxter has pushed through. They've got to be careful. Watson just saw that player, I think. He's going to throw a nade down and try and get out of there, but the pressure is coming onto him. He's asking for reinforcement, and he has got some come through as well. But Hixie will open up this game with it, but that bomb has now gone down as well. Denza trying to find these Amelia Strays players, and they are dropping like flies.
Yeah, Watson was doing quite well to stay alive as long as he did. Shots from Piero. Won't do well to get any further, though, and there you go. Elevate, get round back. I mean, it's that kill from Hixie that comes through originally. He finds the shots. I want to say it was maybe on the Chaxter down towards the garage, and all of a sudden that puts Watson in a bad spot. He has to get out of art, which is the power position you kind of want to hold if it's going down a B. So as soon as that happens, it's pretty much curtains for Amelia Strays. Hixie's probably going to win this gunfight. Good round from him. 3-3 now, back and forth here, Bryce. Nobody able to get that little bit of extra breathing room they'd want.
Both teams really showing us why they're currently at the top of the table. Refusing to bow even a little bit between these two. Of course, back on board with Elevate as they go into the attack once again. And it looks like another big B hit coming in. Obviously, tacticals and lethals being thrown out in an abundance. Not really to get any kills at this point in the game, but more to check where they are. Nuke coming on full lot of pressure. Chaxter will get that one back, and Chaxter gets the second one as well. Player coming behind him well. Sentex goes close. Watson will eventually pick up bids, and it's now Wee Man all alone as he's managed to get through pillars like ships in the night. They haven't seen each other. Piero and Wee Man both go through pillars at the same time and don't see each other, obviously because you can't see through concrete ton. But can Wee Man use this little bit of luck to try to make a 1v3? Watson now gone down, back to a 1v2. Bomb might as well be in Narnia, though, sitting currently at back laundry.
Yeah, that's one of those situations where Watson gets shot from pillars and is like, hold on, what? I mean, I'm sure somebody just came from there, but here we go, Wee Man. So the attempt to go, not going to happen. Amelia Strays will find the round. It's an interesting one. It's Chaxter. If he doesn't pick up the second kill, it's a bit more interesting. He sees Denza when he just peeks around the corner, so anticipates the challenge. Nice teammates there to help him out with a third. And I think it was maybe a bit overzealous to push with that bomb up towards Laundry, of course. Not 100% sure who it was who made that choice, but nonetheless, when that bomb is in that position, I mean, it's S&D 101. If you're the bomb carrier, you don't really want to be the furthest one forward. You would drop down, it makes recovering that bomb and winning the round ultimately a lot more difficult.
Well, let's see. Chaxter. Oh, Denza's just in nuke tray. That's an easy kill. Knowing exactly where they're coming from, but Denza's now going to try and stay alive. Eventually goes down as well. It's not looking good for Elevate Ton. Can Bids, though, be in a position...
That bit of a breathing room.
Bids is in a position to do something here, though.
Can he make a play? Man as well. Oh, he's dead.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's no way he survived that, surely. Big
Oh
fight going down. How on earth did he survive that? He just took down Watson. Now.
Well, this is doable. Very doable.
Oh. I was going to say, he was in a clutch situation last time around and wasn't able to do it. This time already after the big kill on the Watson. Could have potentially had this one in the bag. Unfortunately, Amelia slays more than equal to it.
Opening kill that allows them to get a little bit more of control, if you like. There you go, Amelia Strays around away. I mean, it should have been over a lot earlier. I'm not really sure how Wee Man managed to get past the garage with Watson.
Yeah, Watson, I thought,
lingering around there.
Must have just been couldn't see him fully.
Yeah, Chaxter 10 and 4 though, Bryce. Having a cracker.
Now.
Oh, he might be dead here though.
Yeah, he's going to try and get Lisa trade out as well.
What?
And Chaxter gets 2. I don't understand how he did that. But now Wee Man is left in another 1 versus 3. This shouldn't be happening. I don't understand how he got both of those. It's a mystery. But Wee Man's alone for the third time in the search and destroy. His third time the charm as he tries to clutch it up to stay in the search and destroy. But they are moving like a pack. He's going to see Watson comes down the stairs. He's going to try and get out of it, but he's stuck in the corner. Semtek's going out. He's going to have to use the greatest. The one gets one and not another. It's not able. It's not the dream. And Amelia Strays will win the search and destroy.
Oh, it's not the
6-3.
Chaxter one. Why? I needed to see that back because that is ludicrous.
It is. Wayman, by the way, was probably pushing his stick so far into that wall. It's like, I need to stay here. I need to make sure I stay alive for my team. But that was a bit of a crazy S&D. There are lots of 1v3s, and Wayman playing well, just couldn't win them. It's not often you can win something like that, but it's insane. Right now, I mean, the Stray's up 2-0.
And really not what we expected. Look, I mean, the maps have been relatively close. Amelia Strays pulled away towards the end of that search and destroy nonetheless, but still, it's not been just as simple as a 2-0 right now. This has been a very, very close game, but Amelia Strays ultimately have been clutching up. The S&D though, I mean, Chaxter made multiple clutch moments in that game. There was the scenario where they were in and around Laundry, which I'm sure we're going to get to see. I mean, Laundry was kind of where he was just setting himself up and making the most of. There's some crazy moments here, specifically Chaxter ones that we're going to see in a second.
Yeah, 100%. And it was one of the kind of tell every time we saw players get control of. By the way, that Watson sneak play probably set one of the tempos forward as well, because after that, Elevate just didn't really have a lot of good luck left, and weren't able to make a ton of plays after it. Yeah, Chaxter. I don't know. I thought Chaxter was dead there. Somehow he managed to survive. He just managed to get himself in that corner as well. But so many times.
That's this.
Oh, here we go.
Oh my. They just lined up.
I might have to watch that replay 1,000 times to understand that. I thought he would probably get one and trade it.
Yeah, I need him to upload his POV, basically, to get a good idea of how that's happened. They must have just lined up and they've taken a couple of bullets at the same time. My goodness. I mean, that is kind of the round-winning moment. He got flooded by 3 and did get traded down. What have we got?
I don't understand how he wins it.
Can we slow down? I'm sure Clay
did he shot punch or no? They just die. They walk through the door and both just die.
I don't know how one. Which one's a headshot? I don't know. I mean, they kind of just lined up. It's just one of those things where it's a bad timing if you're on the elevate side of things that he's just peeked his head out, and it's at the same time he's kind of married up with the 2 players there for him. So I mean, you have to make the plays very well done from Chaxter. There was multiple moments where he made big plays throughout that search and destroy, and he's a big reason as to why they take that map away, Brycey.
It is currently 2-0. Amelia Strays as we head into our third of the trifecta of raid we are going to be playing. Of course, the only thing that does change is going to be the game mode. Now we go on to control. So far, it has been Amelia Strays on raid. Can they make it the 3-peat? Can they win raid one more time to 3-0 elevate and move into Challengers Elite 5-0? Crazy. If anybody had suggested this when they first qualified for Challengers Elite, I would have thought that they clearly were just playing some sort of game where they have to lie ridiculously so, because this is not a realistic thing just 2 weeks ago, but somehow they are doing it against the very best teams in Europe, Ton.
They really are. They really are. The elevate control game is strong. And well, we're seeing that from the opening break. Very well played. I mean, that's gone if you're Amelia Strays. You are defending B for a solid 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Yeah, Bryce.
Yeah, I mean, it happens on this map. It's just one of those.
It does.
If you can hold A, it's fine. If not, you know, you just make sure you lock in B very, very securely. But right now, the best thing for Elevate are the fact they have some decent map control. They're all pushed up. If they can get these trades going through, it's going to make their lives an awful lot easier. There's 2 gone down already. Pixie now going to be looking for the players they know behind them. Already another player gone down. And Watson is going to be holding Tiki. Nutra trying to go through the kitchen, but Bidge is holding it once again here. Elevate trying not to let go of control, considering they've only died 3 times so far.
Watson setting up in Tiki here. Just trying to stay alive as best he can. It's a good start for Elevate, but it's not the question for Amelia Strays to come away with the win in this round. Piero. Good shots coming through. It's a difficult break, this, though. It really is. No, Amelia Strays are playing this one well. Look at them spread out on this side of the map specifically. Just setting themselves up in positions. I mean, if you're Chaxter, you're big chilling. It's fine. Just making sure we're watching this angle. We're knowing they're not pushing this way. The rest of the team, yeah, you may go down, but I'm here to be a nuisance, and they will go down. Hixie and Denza combining well. Chaxter, though, finds 1 kill, backs down and says, all right, okay, well, come find me then. The rest of the team do the job on the other side. Very well played.
This is, I mean, don't get me wrong, Elevate are playing this very well, by the way. Like, the pushes they're making, they're getting kills, they're pushing them through, and obviously when you push that back spawn, you are going to end up spawning a basketball until you can flip them out towards Laundry. So you can get a kill there and push through, but the fact they held it twice completely removed all control away from Elevate. They've now had to clean Bedroom. You can see the lives. They had a significant life advantage. It's now floated away. Piero Cotto is going to try and stem the tide. He's waiting for reinforcements to back him up as well. Does stay alive in the kitchen. Goes through money. And Watson again here is refusing to give up Tiki and holding it down for him. Eventually, Elevate will be able to push in one more time. Piero Cotto trying to hold down money at the same time. This may be one of the last pushes that Elevate managed to get off.
It is. The lives are still healthy on both sides of things, but if you're Elevate here, this is a hard push. You've had 2 minutes and 20 seconds to do something here. Haven't been able to find a clean breakthrough. Those last 2 kills might do it. Piero just probably needs to stay alive. Depends where you want, man. Will not manage to get a touch. They've closed down the side on Pool as well. Watson will find another 2. A very, very nice defensive round from Amelia Strays.
Well, and that's exactly why you don't give up B, Tom. You said 2.5 minutes to try and hold it, and it's more than plausible. Unfortunately, there is so many things the defense can do to hold it down. From Tiki to Bedroom, it is a difficult push the entire way through. You go in the kitchen, you push out kitchen, by the way. That's what I talked about. That's the difficult thing about it. You can end up spawning a basketball, so you're actually spawning them very, very close to the control point they're trying to defend. You've got to then try and break through, get Bedroom control. There is so much to do on raid control. But I love it, and we're going to see whether or not Amelia Strays can change this and try to win their attack.
Be something if they could. 2-0 lead in the series, a 2-0 lead in control. Not where you want to be if you're Elevate. Piero lining them up. The Craig is so nice in him, this man's hands. Oh my god, well, he's just been deleted by Hixie. If he's going to continue to make this push, Chaxter could do with winning this gunfight. Somebody close the window. We've seen more accurate shots from him than not this tournament, but this is not necessarily the best that we've seen. But here we go, Watson. Still staying alive, but tell you what, Elevate have done well here. Just traded away. Slowed Amelia Strays down a minute 10 remaining.
Yeah, I really like what Biz is doing. It does actually make an A defense more difficult, but essentially Biz is manipulating that spawn to make sure none of Amelia Strays end up pushing towards B. It does mean they can commit 3 players into around A. Unfortunately, it does mean Amelia Strays also have the better spawn for it, but Biz is going to try to come through the back. He sees one, sees Chaxter, who gets out through it as well, but A point will now be secured as they flood over towards B. He said that can work out for you, but it doesn't usually mean you'll give up A control in the end here. Hixie, though, going to be playing bottom Bedroom, and that is a complete and total decimation of Amelia Strays. Elevate now in full control. Amelia, 1 minute 38 to try and figure out how to get through this.
Oh! Piero should not be finding that second kill. Made the push here as well. Are they going to find a third? Piero! Lining it up, Denza is going to escape his clutches. Watson, is he there for the trade? No, he isn't. The rest of the team of Elevate are here to trade it out themselves. I mean, this is a furious pace between both these two, but nicely done from Hixie. Looking more and more like Elevate are going to take this defensive round here, Bryce.
Yeah, I mean, it's been very fast from Amelia Strays. I don't know if that was the wisest way to play this. They've still got a good amount of time to go through. They are, unfortunately, now starting to bleed lives. Only 7 left for this one. 55 seconds to go through, and now they start to slow it down a little bit. You can see the players pushing through Ring, pushing through Laundry. When you can see Chaxer there, and this is what I talked about earlier, even if he makes a kill, he's going to end up spawning that player either far back jungle, depending on where he makes it, or basketball. But Biz is holding Paul stairs as well. Even if you get through this, right, you still got to get the player basketball, you still got to get Tiki. They don't have kitchen control, and there's a player bedroom. It is not an easy win here. Essentially, these are hero plays that need to happen, potentially for the pinch. You can already see, I think it's Watson and Piero are going to try and get that player out of bedroom. If they can do it, they have a chance. But it all comes down to that gunfight around bedroom. Watson managed to get the first one go down. He gets traded out as well. Chaxter is going to try and pitch this with Piero at the same time. Piero gets one, but it goes down. Piero gets two. This is everything they needed to do now, but they just don't have the lives, bodies, or time to try and make any sort of a play of it. Eventually jumping on a B, but it's a 2 versus 10 ton, and that may be too little too late.
Yeah, it's going to be super difficult to do anything here. Piero doing well to find the kills he did. But in that situation, you kind of need to, like, it's kind of turns into a bit of an S&D round, but one that you have to literally find an ace with without losing any of your own teammates. Very, very hard to do. But well played by Elevate. They were just very pacey throughout the round. Getting in the faces of Amelia Strays, and all of a sudden, things are tied up here in the control.
All right, well, let's see. Can Elevate win their attack? And you can already see Denza pretty much aiming where he's planning to go. Straight push into A here, and I'll be hoping to do this with as much time and as many lives as possible. Straight onto the point. 2 going through already. A player going down towards pillars. Denza checking out that laundry. Nuke J's now running around, trying desperately to stay alive. Eventually going down to that grenade as well. Big start here from Elevate. That first tick has gone in. And now they're going to be thinking, right, very much doubt we'll end up losing this here as long as we commit a few more people to it. How on earth are we going to end up taking B?
Yeah, well, that's the problem, isn't it?
That is the problem.
Flying around the map, and he's 22 and 14.
Pierre's having a pretty good game, I would say.
Yeah, expert analysis from yourself, as per usual.
Oh, no. It's about all I can really say. They are refusing to lay down in any way. But now, kitchen control is about to come on fire. Piero, who is having that good game, is going to be here trying to hold them off as well. That's the pistol popping out. Managed to get out of it. Reinforcements coming through. The nade as well, but kills at the same time. Jackson trying to stay alive. Speeds will be equal to it. That is a lot of players down, and the spawn is coming out. Oh! That's how you break B. Bids opens up. And now they have control. First hit going in. They have got bodies on this one as well. 3 going through. It means Amelia Strays have to basically play this right here, right now. Guns coming in. They're going to have to flood through. Nuke J getting a kill at the same time. And it's only going to be Hixie left alive. Too many people to challenge. Denger's now playing as he tried to hold down basketball, but they weren't able to get that third tick. But 2 might be good enough with 1 minute 38 left to go.
Yep, it's one decent break. Doesn't even need it to be all 4. Just 3 and Flood. Well, there's 2. Can they find another to try and make this possible? Nuke J. Oh, it's such a hard position inside the money. You really need kitchen control. He's got aggressive, which I'm not too sure about. Denza will be the furthest one forward momentarily for Elevate. Minute and 10 remaining, Bryce. Plenty of time.
Yeah, really, yeah, there's so much work, though, to get those first 2 ticks. Can they get it? That's a big kill by Bids. Nuke J, though, is going to be top ring. He has managed to get a kill himself. He's just thinking about it, but every time you think Elevate may have just found a tiny little bit for it, Piero says no. That's a 3-piece and a shutdown. And Elevate has to start again from 0, but Denza gets 2. Can Piero hold off this pressure once again? This is not an easy gunfight to take, by the way. Money down towards the hot tub. I regularly die from this one. It's difficult, but he's going to just completely obliterate Bids. More players going down. Denza going to be on the hill. He gets one. Not able to get any more than 2. And this is what I was talking about, Tom. Every time you think Elevate can just get through or have made enough kills, someone immediately stops them.
Those lives are getting very low. Well, it comes down to this, though. Piero once again. He's going to get traded out. Which way these trades going to go? Just about in Elevate's favor. And it's that one tick. Watson needs to be a hero. Oh, he finds 1. That might be enough. No respawns remaining on the side of Elevate. They need to be perfect. Chaxter will find him. Only 3 remaining on the other side of things, but Denza's inside the point. These kills need to come on through. Denza finds 1. Can't find the second. He would have needed the 3rd. And Amelia Strays just get it done. 2-1 now.
I am I mean, don't get me wrong here. Fizz did some ridiculous work. Like, just outrageous amounts of work. He's on some great scoreline at the moment, by the way. But I don't know. Like, it's so difficult to break that when you've got players like Pierre Cod or Nuke J just making those kills that are so, so important. Watson's been holding it down in Tiki as well. And Elevate have got to match that same energy here. They have got to put Amelia Strays into the dirt early and hard because they're going for a B push. They're going for it off difference, and that's a big kill from Bids to kick things off. There are players all around him, though. Jackster gets him as well. They're going for an early B. It's a risky strategy, but it can pay off.
It's one of those. If it doesn't pay off, you at least know that you can get it out pretty handily. I don't mind it. Honestly, it's one of my preferred ones whenever I watch teams do it. Sometimes if it pays off, you're in such a good spot. And the thing is, you sort of send somebody tentatively over towards A, you start getting a bit of a tick there, and then all of a sudden, look, Elevate have sent 3 over. Have they given B up?
No,
Just, well, not quite, but nearly.
I think they're going to lose it, regardless of whether they're giving it up.
It's gone.
There we go. That's big. So, we haven't really spoken about it so far, but basically when you now defend A, you've got to push out both sides and hope you never get taken down as a full 4. Because it is a nightmare to try and defend. Chaxter comes through the back, already picks one off. There are players now in towards R, and somehow Chaxter gets the second one. Bids, don't even peek him. Just hide. Just hide in art. Somehow Chaxter just cut them completely open, and Elevate are now scrambling. They have got to get players back into ring. Watson only gets 1. But this is looking very, very good for them right now, Ton.
It is. Getting rid of Watson is good. It's a good start here for Elevate. Not in a bad spot lives-wise, but this is, of course, very much a more difficult side to defend. Elevate not in the best of spots here. Good shots from Weeman going to come on through here, though. And Bids causing problems in and around Art. The kills starting to come through for Elevate. Meaning they can get themselves set up a little bit better. They could do with getting rid of Piero in the middle, who's 34 and now 24 as he falls again. Having a hell of a game. Amelia Strays, though, seem to have folded a little bit ever since we came down to really just making the offense over towards A.
Yeah, Elevator doing a good job. That's what I talk about. You've basically got to have both sides pushed out. They're holding Art to make sure they don't get pushed out and spawning back Laundry. And you can see Amelia Strays know this and have gone for a full loop around the map. It burns an awful lot of time, but they only realistically need that one break. If they can get in there and lock it down, they can start flooding them out and pushing them and spawning them out the back. Bids, though, desperate trying to stay alive. Chaxton gets that first going to P5. Chaxton gets 2 and P5. Jerry gets 1. It's now Bids with a hero play. Bids is going to try and do something, but he goes down. Watson already has managed to get back into this, and now they're stacking it with 3 players. Elevator spawning in Narnia. Is this all over, Ton?
It's done. That's game.
It is.
Amelia Strays undefeated.
By the way, that's the exact lesson. That is the exact problem with losing B. You lose your players, you spawn out, and it's done. It's an absolute nightmare to retake. Wow.
What a performance.
Yeah. What a result. 3-0 against the other undefeated team in Challengers Elite. Ellen, that was kind of a ridiculous game. The control, the S&D, the hard point, the whole lot.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to start laughing. I'm just shocked. I wasn't expecting a 3-0. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't. And crazy. I was just watching on the big screen and I was screaming every game, and I'm kind of still stuck on the S&D. How Chaxter got that double kill. I'm like, whoa! Like I'm just. Wow, they played out of their mind, and every time it felt like Elevate, they like had like a footnote, like they were literally like about to take the lead, or it just felt like Amelia Strays, they were one step ahead of them. Like they countered their plays so well. So good stuff coming from them. They're definitely going to be a team to beat. So nonetheless, good job, and moving forward. Wow, I just don't. I'm like, it's just crazy.
Wow is certainly the way I would put it, and we'll come back to covering this in just a second. Here's a schedule, by the way, if you are sitting at home and wondering what exactly is coming up on our so far. Well, we've had our first 2 games. Elevate took down Orgless 3-1, and Amelia Strays just defeated Elevate 3-0. After our short little break, which is just how long it takes us to get over to North America, we will be watching Easter versus the UT crew, and then LAG Academy versus Built by Gamers. So those are 2 more matches coming up on this broadcast schedule. Don't go anywhere. Keep your eye out for it. But we got to go and talk about that game. We asked whether or not Amelia Strays were going to be good enough, and we all thought it should realistically be Elevate. The pedigree and the amount of time that they've been doing such good work all fell to nothing against Amelia Strays all the way through that series, Tom.
It just came down to like clutch moments here and there. It seemed to be, it was Chaxter who was just picking up the important kills at the right times. And we said it was a 50-point game in the first one. The Search and Destroy was only a few rounds. Yes, okay, the control was 3-1, but there was defining moments all the way through where it was like the game just flipped towards the side of Amelia Strays. You can see that Search and Destroy point in Laundry where Chaxter finds 2 on multiple occasions, but were parts of rounds where Elevate should have been in an advantageous position. Map number 1, you can say, you know, it was a case of Piero and Nuke J getting inside and just making sure they were being nuisances with that scrap time, stopping Elevate getting some of that easy time that you sometimes associate with Raid Hardpoint. And then the control, it comes down to that big hit over towards B. And then some really good play in around A from Amelia Strays, just clutch moments. Just finding those little magic moments that do make a difference in this series. Really, really well played.
Yeah, it certainly was a magic moment, and I'm sure with the EU region being closed for today, at the very least, they're going to go off and celebrate as a 5-0 is a great achievement in for this one as well. But it's not the only Call of Duty we have. Champions League does, of course, continue on. We've seen great plays from some of the talent in Europe, but it's time to ask the question, what can North America do? There are certainly a lot of players ready to showcase their stuff right here on this broadcast. We are, of course, going to take a little break as we get across the pond to go and have a look at it, but do not go anywhere. We will be back. Call of Duty Challengers Elite right after this.